But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken, we just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and vegs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Playing Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Thomas van der Zander, Measured Flat, Mir in the Shire, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, the name's Burley, JMails24, Udamento, Iron26, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Young Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links, as I say, to Patreon are below this video. And with that, I will hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
That wherever you're at is actually where God wants you to be. If you're talking to God, if you are saved and you're trying to listen to the Holy Spirit, and no, I don't think anyone does a really good job because they always mix up their own mind and with what God's telling them and what Satan's telling them in the other ear. That angel on one shoulder and devil on the other shoulder, absolutely, there's truth to that. And yeah, it just, if you're praying every day, I started this several years ago. It says, God, I'm wherever I'm at today, I know that's where you want me to be. And so let's make the day what you want of it. And who I'm talking to, I know I'm supposed to be talking to them, even if it's to tell the cashier or something that their hair looks nice, Oh, have a nice day. That's a nice smile. And so if you go through your day like that, then you know that you're doing something because God's got you where he wants you. And
correct.
So yeah, if you treat every day like that, and every time you talk to somebody like that, like today, this morning, this is where I'm supposed to be and where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be talking about.
And that's where Nathan's supposed to be. Good morning, Nathan.
Morning, Nathan. Okay, everybody shut up.
I'll give you that. Nathan gives liberty. Like you be on some servers, as soon as you start talking about God, they're like, we're not talking about God here. This is flat earth. We're going to discuss flat earth. I'm like, how do you separate them?
You can't. And actually, that's something, I don't know, I was going to talk about it earlier this morning when it was just a couple of us, but there's a guy on Facebook that I'm friends with, and he's basically started out a post with, I'm willing to debate any pastor from the scriptures alone who denies flat earth. And so his thread is going on about how that you can he's just waiting to find somebody to debate on using scripture alone
I think what's happening though, I think what's happening now, I mean, Fisherman in the Box, his last video, like, I don't know if the pastors are being truthful, but they're saying that flat earthers are coming in and condemning everybody that don't accept that the earth is flat through scripture. So that's saying that they're sowing discord.
Yeah, that's a bit. Sorry, Neil, but that would be a bit extreme. If flat earthers are doing that, that's shame on the flat earthers there, because obviously God exists. The earth is flat. No man made that. And if people are in the churches and you're going in there saying, if you don't accept the flat earth, you're wrong, blah, 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 and it's in the scripture, that's definitely a bad news for the flat earther. God's looking at that.
I don't know how truthful it is, so, but just take him, just say like
No,
that.
I'm just speaking, metaphorically speaking, in a scenario, if flat earthers were, I don't know about that particular situation, but if any flat earther is actually doing that, that's really bad of the flat earth at the end of the day, because people go to church for their emotional comforts and stuff, yeah? If flat earth is there, they have to take another route to get to them. If it's in the scriptures, you got to take your time and give a good presentation when the timing is right. But to actually be dogmatic and start abusing them, well, that's just really disgusting, isn't it, at the end of the day? So,
but then again, he could listen. The way it sounds, it's probably right in the middle. You know what I'm saying? It's probably truthful. He's probably being truthful, but exaggerating a little bit. And the flat earthers are probably being a little pushy, but I don't think it's to the extent he says. But what you have to do is you have to go to the pastor of the church. You have to, they tell you all the time, if you have an issue with scripture, come to me. If you think I'm saying something wrong, the door's open. So it could be about communion. So my question is this: if your door is open for everything, why is it not open for the nature of earth? What earth is? Why is it as soon as you go in there, you're one of them flat earthers? Why can't we open the scriptures the same way we open to them if we have a controversy on communion or being born again or Judaism, anything? Doors wide open. You're taking me through the scriptures. But
it's the same.
In this scenario, you're just shutting yourself up and saying that this is sowing discord. Weird.
Well, it's the same in Islam, Neil. That if you do have a problem with the Quran and the scriptures in the Quran, you go to the Imam. So that's what I would be doing if I'm going to talk about the flat Earth and its findings and where it's related in the Quran. I'll be going to the Imam first, because they're the ones that are leading the congregation. So they need to get it correct as best they can and discuss it, because it does need to be discussed. Flat Earth, if it's in the scriptures, that needs to come out, because there are people who are going to go to the church, believing in the globe and that, and going home, And if you have that information and it's correct, then you should be educating your congregation to that fact that Earth is measured flat and it's never been a globe. And you're going to help them in a million ways. But, obviously it's all about timing and getting it right. And sometimes you meet a very connoisseur type imam that doesn't want to do that. Well, I'll expose him to the highest. Do you know what I mean? Because remember this, you don't need religion to go and know that the earth is measured flat. You can do that without the religion. You see what I mean?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is he tells his congregation that I looked for the flat earth in the Bible and I don't see it anywhere. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a video to go watch about a Christian astronaut. So that's your proof of a globe. You're not going to go through the scriptures. You're going to send your congregation to a Christian astronaut's video.
An alleged Christian's video, yes. That and it's always quotes from someone else. Let me give you a quote from Shakespeare or from Aristotle or something like that. It's not scripture, and that's why the whole quote unquote flat Earth idea, I'm coming to believe, is the psyop. It is the...
no, it's not. The flat Earth is not an idea. Flat Earth is not an idea when it's measured flat.
Didn't finish.
You're listening to Nathan Oakley.
Didn't finish.
Hang on a second. Let me speak, will you?
He was in the middle of a
I'm
sentence.
speaking now. Come on.
You cut him off.
Jin, you cut him off. He hasn't finished.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
All right. Apology accepted. I'm just saying that I'm coming to the conclusion for myself that the words flat earth have been weaponized and are part of the world religion psyop, whatever you want to call it, psychology that is part of the problem of why there's such a disconnect when it comes to this subject. And again, it's also why I'm more and more convinced that simply just stating the truth of how we measure stuff without all the extra baggage, without all the doctrine from both sides. There's flat earth doctrine from the Bible, and there's heliocentric doctrine from heliocentrism. And they're all just doctrines. That measurements are it. And it's just how we do stuff. It is the truth of how how we operate on Earth. And that's why it's hard to talk anymore about all the extra stuff that surrounds the words, the idea of flat Earth. So that's it. That's what started. That's why we kind of started on this guy who's going to debate somebody, another pastor, on scripture alone about flat Earth. And I'm getting into an argument with the flat earthers in this thread. I'm pointing out that you can't debate it. There is no debate. We live on a flat Earth because it's measured that way. And, you're just going to debate about what the scripture says versus the doctrines taught. So you're going to have heliocentric pastors trying to shoehorn in God's creation into the Big Bang or avoid the Big Bang. They're just going to talk globe versus flat. And I'm saying, no, if you're going to do the globe, you have got to start with the Big Bang. Georges Lemaitre. You start with the Jesuit, and you got to carry it all the way through evolution, the whole the universe evolving into this planet. Then you can talk about the planet and make your case, but you got to stick to heliocentrism if you're going to do this with or without scripture. And they can't, obviously.
You're on point. Stick to the measurements.
Hold on, let's just see if Jin wants to react as I've told him off. Go ahead, Jin.
No, you didn't tell me off or anything. I'm just, I apologize for jumping in on it whilst you hadn't finished. Okay. But only purely because I thought you were saying that flat Earth is a psyop. I misunderstood where you were going with your explanation, should I say. So accept the apologies there. And, well, for me, if people are going to debate flat Earth, that's fine. It's not a crime. Okay, you want to debate it, fine. You want to discuss it, fine. You want to just talk about it, okay. It's not a crime. Debating is not a crime. If you're in a debating forum or people who want to debate it with you, it's not a problem. But it's not an idea. Flat Earth is the truth. So if you're going to discuss flat Earth, you're going to be discussing the truth about where you live. I'll stop there for that because I could go on.
Well, I'm glad you stopped there because I want to add something to that. Well, I disagree with the last statement that you made. You said flat Earth's about the truth in that matter. Now, yeah, for us here and now, that's absolutely the case, without doubt. However, when qualifying flat Earth in quotes as a psychological operation, I would, in certain scenarios, agree, and I'm going to explain why. If you consider that Earth is simply measured flat, and that is a prerequisite requirement for all Earth measurements, then there's no discussion to be had. But you can't just leave a contradiction to the one world religion out there without any address. You have to create an aura around the subject matter, not the facts, the subject matter. So flat earthers are subject matter. It's like calling Flat Earth Debate the title of my show when there is no debate. It's just a title. It can be about whatever I like. It's just the show title. Well, if it's just the title, Flat Earth, you can make it about 9/11 truth, Sandy Hook, JFK, Mandela effect. You can make it about everything but Flat Earth, because that's what the Flat Earthers are talking about. And then you can mock and ridicule the people and look at the statistics. You can look at how many searches have been done on the subject, how YouTube are potentially supporting it or decrying it, whether or not we're censored. All of those things have got absolutely sod all to do with flat Earth. But as a subject, that's where it is unequivocally a psychological operation. The operation being to make the fact that Earth is measured flat, that's flat Earth, be something else. Flat Earth in quotes, and make it about people, surveys, statistics, conspiracies. And that is what Flat Earth's about. Now, that's something that when we talk about God putting us on a path and knowing that we're in the right place, that's what we're doing. Now, I buttered up your ego yesterday. I'm going to do it again, Jin, because when you get annoyed, I get very nervous because I want you here. Possibly as much as it might offend the other panel members, more than any of the other panel members. You're incredibly important. Number one, you're a teacher. Now, if you've watched enough of the show, you'll know my disdain for your general globe-believing teacher. You're not that. But what you do and how you react and how you see this subject is critical, because you are representative of a huge number of people who watch this show and deal with the subject matter in the way that it's been dealt with for a number of years. Now, often when we point that out, you get irritated, and that's fine as well. I want the reaction. But it's not because I want to have a jab at you personally. So I want to point out just how critically important your opinions, how you behave, your demeanour, what you stand for, how you represent Flat Earth, how important that is to the show currently. Now, you're probably unaware of that, but I'm going to keep bashing home how important you actually are, because you probably don't realise it.
Thank you so much, Nathan, because I would like to clarify something from yesterday as well, when Nathan rephrased what I said as Arthur is telling you off, Jin. So again, I would like to tell you, I am not telling you off or anything. There is nothing personal involved. It's just for the argument's sake that it is so fruitful to have that discussion here in the panel. That's the only reason that I bring up these points. There is literally nothing personal against you, Jin CBR1.
Yes, completely agree. Absolutely. So when it feels like we're having a jab, on the one hand, yeah, we are. And not only are we having a jab at you, we're having a jab at all that you represent. So you can, and will obviously do and will, take it personally. But you've got to try and attempt to detach yourself from that. You know, a level of introspection isn't required from you because you represent a type of person. Now, it's hard not to take it personally when I say, well, how you're approaching it's wrong, Jin. You're going to go, how dare you? Right? And I can totally relate. So I have to strike a balance in that regard to try and not offend you personally, whilst using you simultaneously as a representative of a whole number of people who have a very similar attitude to you. You've no idea how stereotypical you are, Jin. And that's critical to what we're currently doing. If God's put us here for a reason, it's to detach the psychological operation of, in quotes, flat Earth, from Earth being flat. And at the moment, they're intertwined. We need to separate that weave. We need to unthread this psyop, there's no other word I can use for it, from the reality of Earth being measured flat. That's what we're doing currently. That's my ambition for 2026. It's all I'm focused on while the book's being rewritten for the 8th time. That's the main thing I want to focus on. How is Flat Earth represented? As graphs, statistics, people. What is Flat Earth in reality? Just a measurement of Earth's surface. Right, for half an hour before we start the live show, I do want to get through AsmonGold. I don't want to do a part 4 on it. I mean, we may inevitably do it, but if we can do a bit in the pre-show, at least then we're getting our way through it and we'll start the live show a bit further on. Is everybody keen to actually... I'm hoping that you'll put your 2 pennyworths in. Is that okay?
Let's go. Let's go. If you allow us to, then
Cheeky
we will.
sod.
Of course.
Yes, I will.
I agree with that jab at Nathan. please allow us to contribute.
Okay, yes, I agree. I get a bit over involved with my own show.
Well, people like to act like a person is more than a monkey. And it's a little bit more, but not that much more, right? And so you have plenty of people that behave like gorillas. They act like gorillas all the time. So, and they even do the same thing with each other, right? They even act like, they walk around like, they do this shit all the time. And so what's really the surprise? What's really the problem with this, right? It's going to happen a lot. We're progressing as a species to our apex of decent soon. The earliest humanity barely had any written language, only 5,500 years ago. Yeah. How do you personally know it's round without someone telling you? Well, someone told me, and how do I know that it's round? Because everything and the way that it's been explained to me makes sense.
Stop.
So it makes sense. How does it make sense?
And everything he was told is what tells him that it makes sense. The stupid arguments that started from elementary school. Look, here's the globe. This is where you're on. Oh, look, the sun up in the sky and the moon up in the sky. They're round, so the earth must be round. All that stuff. Yeah. It's because you're freaking told, and you've been shown it in every logo and every movie and every TV show for decades. So of course it freaking makes sense.
Yeah, it works. How many times you hear that? It works. It don't work on a flat Earth. It works on a globe.
Yeah, it only works on the globe. Show me your flat Earth map. Show me your flat Earth. I hate all that.
So he clearly doesn't know the Earth is a globe, does he? Doesn't know it, does he?
No, that's correct.
Right. Thank you.
That's the future, so maybe he'll figure it out later.
As a surface puke regurgitator, I called it yesterday. I was like, you hear something once and like, well, that means it's true. He's done it with Sabine. He's doing it now. He's admitting to it. Well, I heard it was true, so it's true.
Yeah, and also, by the way, if you took a flat earther up in a spaceship and you said, look down, there it is. You see.
Anybody?
That's what he wants to do.
No.
See, he needs to cope.
Hold on. What were the words he said?
Up from level.
If you take a flat earther up, you don't have up on a ball.
Right. Well, I don't know where to just derail these arguments. So that's maybe something to think about how to nicely derail them. I want to not just get pissed at these people and then throw off the slogans. Oh, well, you'll need a flat earth for that. And, up, you don't have up on a ball. All that stuff, while true, and part of the arguments now, or not the arguments, part of the facts of how we measure the earth. I want to be able to get to disarm that kind of thinking in a humorous way while being nice with them, laughing kind of a little bit at them, seriously, and disarming that kind of stuff. They think that's debate rhetoric. They think that's a valid proofs and argument. Everything they say is this is a proof. This is a proof. I've proved this throughout this whole thread. I've got Facebook threads full of that stuff. I've given you 100 proofs of why the Earth's a globe, and you haven't given me a single one. And I just say, the Earth. There's no. What's the new housekeeping question? Possibly, has the Earth ever been measured with anything but a horizontal plane of reference? And
factually,
and
what he's just said is take a spaceship up and get them to look down. Okay. Well, if you're going up in a rocket, then the measurements used for the trajectory will be perpendicular to a plane of reference. That's what up is. When they look down, down, also the same thing, a vector with respect to a plane of reference. The measurements that are being ascribed to this, what you suggest is his argumentation. Yeah, he thinks it's argumentation, but involved in his argumentation are flat Earth measurements, aren't they?
Yes, indeed.
See, it's round. You're full of shit. He'd be like, bro, I want to get off this.
Did you do that, AsmonGold? You're suggesting you put me in a rocket to go up and measure Earth in its elevation with respect to a plane. Have you done that? In a second law of thermodynamics violation, sky vacuum, to see that the Earth is round like the paintings that they presented you. Have you done that? No.
Is she saying round deliberately?
This ride. Like, I know we're in like a Disney theme park right now. Like, I know we haven't left Earth. Like, you don't need to fool me. Like, I can see through this. You can show people, no. It would say, take me to their side. If you do, they just say it's fake. Because you can never prove somebody wrong who doesn't want to be wrong.
So if we were to say...
Sunset and sunrise, let alone tides or solar
with
eclipse.
respect to a plane of reference, when you describe up and altitude for rocket launches and trajectories, you won't accept that because you want to believe you're on a ball, in spite of the measurements you've just appealed to being flat. That kind of example. Notice how I've taken what you've just said and made it applicable to you only. Because it is only applicable to you. You're the one with a ball belief based on flat Earth measurements. You've just listed off two of them. Altitude, trajectory.
Yeah, he's whistling past the graveyard, as Neil would say.
Ellipses or the paths of planets. You can't calculate airplane routes around the sun.
So plane routes, A Sabine, flight level, altitude. No, those are flat Earth measurements, you dumb witch.
Satellite navigation.
What
Even
measurements?
It's a flat map on screen. See if he notices.
you know nothing about how scientists...
Mm-hmm. It's a flat map. It's transverse Mercator. It's flat.
do calculate these things. It isn't hard
Calculate them. We measure Earth flat. The calculations for sphericity are irrelevant.
to convince yourself that someone, somehow, did manage to actually calculate when the sun arises and when solar eclipses will occur.
Another flat map.
Yeah.
And those were not the people who believe that the Earth is flat.
It's like, yeah, people always act like, oh, the Mayans, like they had aliens helping them. Bro, how many of you guys have had... You've had your internet go out for like 2 hours and you accomplish more in those 2 hours than you would accomplish in the next 6 months. Because like now you can't jerk off, like you can't do anything, you actually have to go do something, right? Like you immediately are productive. So like they never had internet. They had nothing else to fucking do.
So what, they just never jerked off? No. What this is you describing what you do with your day. You spend your entire day jerking off, don't you, AsmonGold?
So yeah, they figured it out. It's not a big surprise.
Why do flat earthers not realize this? I suspect what's going on is that they don't have the faintest clue how modern science works. They...
Not a scientific endeavour. Talking about geography, the maps you presented, all of the diagrammatical examples so far have been flat.
might actually believe that drawing a rotating blob on a disk in Blender is the state of the art in physics.
Yeah.
So what are we to do? There'll always be people who distrust scientists, and that might not even...
You have to remove these people from the voting pool somehow. That's...
By this standard, now we've proven that Earth is measured flat in all of your examples, without exception. Do we remove you from the voting pool? Is that what you would suggest? No, I don't give a shit. I don't vote. I couldn't care less. I think it's nonsense. But in your mind, you'd persecute and segregate people. You're a fucking disgrace of a human being, AsmonGold. Should I suggest that you be crucified, nailed to a fucking cross for your disgrace of an attitude? Would you find that offensive? I suggest that you should be nailed to something. Because that's what you're effectively doing. You're saying that we should be persecuted and removed from societal endeavours because we've got something to say about how Earth is measured flat. Now, you're wrong. So by your own standards, we should nail you to a cross then. Watch you bleed out and die. Is that reasonable? No? How dare you?
And I'm afraid, Nathan, that you're going to have to go through that entire narrative about what the science and scientific method means, which you have done yesterday and the day before. But you don't need you don't need to know a lot of science, but at least you need to know that science is not involved in this subject. And AsmonGold has proved it in spades that he does not know what science fundamentally means.
Well, maybe Nathan needs to go over what geography is instead of science. They keep trying to lump it into a scientific endeavor when it's not. It's geography. Their geography deniers.
I'm more concerned with how this guy's attitude is, because these people disagree with me, in spite of the fact that he's wrong. We're right, he's wrong. But in his mind, because he believes in a ball, he feels that people who don't believe as he does, they should be removed from societal endeavours. Does anybody else not agree that that is utterly disgusting?
I agree. Yeah, I
Hey, you got us like leopards.
It is disgusting.
Yeah,
After you finish nailing him, then feed him to the crocodiles afterwards.
No,
So-
I think castration.
Yeah, so because we've found out and figured out that you're wrong, AsmonGold, I think we should remove your fucking testicles and make you eat them. How do you feel about that? We'll just cut off your bollocks, shove them down your mouth, and then bury you alive. Because you're wrong. Fundamentally wrong. You've used ultimately loads of flat earth evidence. So is it reasonable that I suggest that we kill you? Is that reasonable? Because you're suggesting...
Yeah, Asman. How would you like them balls?
Hold on a second. He's being a little tough on the guy. I mean, he's been brought up in heliocentrism like all of us.
Does heliocentrism ever suggest that you should remove people from voting?
No, absolutely not. But right now he's caught up in the middle of all of this flat earth debate and this, what he thinks is a psyop. Well, you got to give him time. Somebody's got to break through, because right now he thinks everything is lining up with the globe. He thinks all of science is behind it. So what do you expect the guy to act like?
Yeah, but when proven wrong, should we then apply his standard to him and lock him up? Take away his privileges? Should we do that? Because that's what he's just suggested.
Well, if he's suggesting it, we should do that. But mind you, he might be doing some of us a favour, because I don't vote, because your votes don't count anyway.
Doesn't he have like 400 or 4 million viewers or something like that?
Yeah, he's suggesting persecution to 4 million potential viewers. That's outrageous.
Yeah,
You're basically Hitler. That's what you are. You're basically a fascist. That's what you are, AsmonGold. Do you not realise that?
He's just talking the rhetoric that's going to keep those viewers and keep him in the bucks.
Yeah, I know. I'll persecute a whole group of people who, in actuality, are correct.
That's the real problem. Like, it was never really a big issue that people believe this stuff because they're like peasants that think that spirits exist in trees.
So now I'm a peasant, am I? My understanding of you is you are a filthy, disgusting human being. You sit in your own filth, and you've got the nerve to call me a peasant. Not on the contrary, I was privately educated. I am anything but a peasant. Now, I might be poor through the subversion of the subject that I suffer on YouTube, and you might be rich, but to describe me as a peasant when you're a dirty, disgusting human being, like you wallow in your own filth. You're a pig. How dare you generalize people as peasants?
But like, nobody really gave a shit because it's like, oh, well, that's just, a peon, and so who cares? But now this person's voting and they're making decisions for other people.
Now we've demonstrated beyond all doubt that you are wrong. You should be locked up then. Yeah? Maybe have your balls removed. Yeah? Does that seem reasonable to you?
Remember, he jerks off in front of his computer as he let slip earlier.
Yeah, we'll stop you wanking off all day, AsmonGold, by cutting your fucking balls off. How about that? Yep, seem reasonable? I mean, how extreme should we take it? Should we take it one more extreme and have your head removed? What extreme do you want to take it to? Now, obviously, this is hypothetical. I'm using an extreme example to contrast this complete, disgusting, dirty human being standards, akin to Hitler's standards, a fascist's standards, where he would persecute people because they don't believe something he believes. What a disgusting human being you are, AsmonGold. You disgust me.
And it's scary. So is the problem really that they're thinking this, or is the problem that they're voting? The problem, in my opinion, is that they're voting. Because you can't solve people being stupid.
What, like you? No, you're right. We should just cut his balls off. Can't solve him being stupid. Cut his balls off and lock him up. Stop him wanking all day as he does.
That's the way I see it. You can't solve that. Like, people are going to be stupid no matter what.
Yeah, like you. You're stupid. You're the stupid one. This is pure projection.
Middle school math test for voting? I feel like if you can't...
Ed?
He's stupid because instead of coming to a flat earther, a real flat earther, he's gone to Sabine. I mean, if you want to know about something, shouldn't you go to people that are experts on it, not the opposition? If I want to know about baseball, I'm not going to go to a soccer coach.
can't do middle school math, I don't want you to vote. Like, if you couldn't graduate high school or you don't have a GED, I don't want you to vote.
You're basically a Hitler, aren't you? If you don't meet my standards, if you don't understand what the scientific method is, I think you should have your balls removed. That's what I think. I mean, perfectly reasonable by your standards. I mean, a little bit more extreme to contrast it.
There's going to be a lot of
I suggest,
people.
if you can't remember your own locker number, you should be castrated.
Yeah, and then if he can't do that, you should take his ears off because he's not listening, and then take off his nose. Says, "Well, watch this at it."
Straight up. Like, I know that sounds elitist, and I want to say that that's completely the
Not elitist. You're a fascist.
point. That is absolutely the point. Most people are, not most people, but some people are so stupid that they should not even be responsible for themselves.
You've just told us that you accepted this based on the words of another man that just told you. You were told, therefore you accepted it. You did absolutely no research. And now you've got the gall to suggest that other people are stupid. This is Dunning-Kruger. It was brought up by Sabine yesterday, as we were reacting to it. Psychological, not science. But this is Dunning-Kruger, what he's exhibiting here, isn't it?
Yes,
Pure
it's a appeal to
projection.
consensus.
Pure projection. That's all.
That's easy to graduate. Yeah, it's like if you can't graduate high school or something equivalent to that, 99% of the time, you are not the kind of person that should be making decisions for anybody else.
No, they're not. People who graduate high school aren't put into a position to make decisions about anybody else. You train to be a factory worker in high school. Now, why do I know that? Well, because I was privately educated. I got a very different education to you, who undoubtedly just had a high school education. Trained to be a factory worker. That's what you got. You think you were put into a position to be teaching people how to do stuff, training people how to do stuff? No. Those are the people who went to grammar schools and private schools, not high schools. All you got taught was how to be a factory worker. And you got the gall to suggest that people who don't graduate don't deserve to vote. You're just Hitler. There's no other way of describing you.
No, I don't go to Specsavers.
Well, you should have gone to Specsavers. Ads. Unskippable ads. There'll be another one as well. My apologies. Unskippable, unfortunately. There we go.
I wanted to back up what Neil said.
That's it.
About him not being able to get away from, the Feast of Nonsense, and even the Feast of Nonsense from the Glovers. You know what I mean? Like like you said, he's at a anti-flat earther channel trying to learn about flat earthers, and they're literally there to deceive you. So.
A bad thing, but I think it's a mistake to ignore flat earthers, and I do have some sympathy for them. I really do. They're trying to figure out how nature works, and that's a
No,
good
they're not. They're not trying to figure out how nature works, because the thing.
No, the way nature works is exclusively governed by science and the scientific method. That's called physics. It's the study of the physical and natural world. Measurements of Earth's surface, that's governed by maths and geography. You're in a category error. Why? Well, because she's put you in one. How has she put you in one? Because she's smarter than you. She knows how easy you are to deceive.
Thing is that if they're trying to, you have to understand, flat Earth does not come from a place of learning. It comes.
Really? So when we learn how high we are with respect to surface level in an aeroplane, that's not from a place of learning? You're a retard. No other words for it. Don't put this man in charge of anything to do with any decision making when it comes to flights. Just castrate him instead. Because he's stupid and can't remember his own locker number, therefore we should cut his balls off.
Comes from an oppositional perspective of the status quo and the establishment.
No, the status quo is that we measure Earth flat in all instances whenever we measure it. But you're in a science category, so you think that we need to appeal to the scientists in this regard for the physical and natural endeavours that would give us cause and effect reasoning? You're in a category error. Meanwhile, Earth's measured flat. I've given a few examples. One of them was yours yesterday when you were utilising Aristophanes' sticks and shadows with respect to a flat plane of reference for an angle. So, no, the general consensus you're aware of, you used flat Earth measurements.
Flat Earthers don't care whether the Earth is flat.
It's a stereotyping fallacy. Do I not care that we're measuring with respect to surface level and sea level in flight? I'd rather not die when I'm on an aeroplane. So I do care. You're wrong. That's what the problem is when you use fallacies. In this case, stereotyping.
Fundamentally, the Earth is flat is just simply a point of reference.
Yeah, we reference it flat to measure it flat when describing things like surface level and sea level, eye level, parallel, perpendicular, all the things that you've appealed to.
To explain that the government and...
Good.
You said point of reference. The Earth is a plane of reference, not a point.
The elites and science and society...
No, maths and geography, not society. That's what it's been turned into as a psyop. Like societally, people say Earth is flat. No. Mathematically, we measure it that way for geographical references in maps.
Is a manufactured lie that's created to oppress them.
Really? So I'm lying when I say sea level? No, you're a retard. You don't know anything about this subject. You've just gone by what this witch told you, making you seem very stupid, because she's here to deceive you, and she's succeeded. In terms of it being a lie, tell me how I'm a liar when I say sea level. What about flight level? Am I lying when I say that an air traffic controller will direct an aeroplane to be at a certain flight level? Is that a lie? Or are you just a fucking retard? I'm pretty sure it's the latter. Cut his balls off. Take his vote away. Lock him up. Maybe bury him alive. How extreme should we go to compare and contrast to your Hitlerite expression of what you do to dumb people? The people you deem to be dumb. In reality, you're the dumb one here.
That's what they really believe. And flat Earth.
Him.
Yeah,
not just us saying sea level. They say it too. They use all of these phrases as well.
Right, I need to press a few buttons and such like before we go live, so talk amongst yourselves for the next 5 minutes.
You know what I was thinking? This whole science thing, I've been thinking about it. It's stolen valor. They lumped it into science so they could gain credibility. And if, Earth, globe, science, they got validity. But really, it's just geography, and they're denying the geography. But they lumped it into freaking science to gain validity.
Yeah, so they can sound more capable than what they actually are. That's what they're doing there,
Also, Neil, it's not like about they don't need it, but we need it, or we don't need it, they need it. It's just how it's done. We all measure Earth flat. It's not about us and them. We all do it.
Yeah, you mean it's a necessity. It's a requirement. It's unavoidable.
Exactly.
Like we need air to exist. You need the flat Earth to exist and measure up. Thank you.
Right, but they're putting it in a science category so they can be the authority.
So they can sound important and clever and more capable.
Hold on, in fact,
sorry, John, go ahead.
It's easy to do. I mean, I know flat earthers that would say that the way we model Earth would be a natural science category. So it's easy for people to do, to get it mixed up on the nature of reality and the surface we're standing on.
Do you think that they're getting it mixed up, John? Because I'm starting to feel like they deliberately put it in the science category so they can grease the skids and they can have the power, because the word science yields a lot of power. It's empirical.
They already have the power. They are greasing the skids in a way, but they already have the power. They're not trying to take anything.
No. They have the power because they made Earth a globe scientifically, when it has nothing to do with science.
I think the people that proclaimed it to be a sphere believed that they were, factually correct.
Yes, scientifically, factually correct. Because when you hear them all, 99.99% of them use the word science. These will be the people you meet on the street. Not one of them is not saying science. Every single one of them is saying it's science. And until you tell them that it's not a scientific endeavor. So they believe it because it's scientifically been proven is what they think.
Yeah, when we first started in this arena, this subject, whatever you want to call it, it was the whole body of science. knows it's a globe. So we changed the vocabulary there. I don't hear anybody saying that, but they still proclaim it as science. And like, how many times you got to go over it? How many times you got to explain to these people that it has nothing to do with science? Earth, concrete, noun, right? Nothing to do with science. There's nothing happening. There's no phenomenon that you're observing, and they still call it science.
Yeah, I
It's
think
very
Jaron,
frustrating.
sorry, Neil, I think Jaron on one of his shows counted how many times these globers said science, and it had nothing to do with science, but he counted it. Can't remember the number, but it was a joke.
Yeah, and then he became a joke because he denies the scientific method, right? They say science doesn't prove things; it only disproves.
Yeah, he was saying that
My
for the
son
last 2
says
years
that.
now. Yeah,
Well, we got to get them focused on a geography. I think Nathan's right. We got to start pushing this geography deniers more and more, so it comes to realization that they are denying geography. When you're claiming that what we observe and what we measure as flat is actually a globe, you're denying geography.
Well, geography deals with elevation profiles, does it not?
Absolutely.
Topography, isn't it?
To claim that
That's a different branch.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying topography deals with elevation profiles, but that would come under a branch of geography, I suppose.
yeah, absolutely, precisely.
When we say GP, what does that mean?
Geographic position by definition.
Geographical position.
Correct.
Or ground position.
The ground is the geography, yes. Ground position, geographical position, but it's not spherical position.
I would also
Yeah, it's not
throw in
SP, is
there-
it?
Yeah, no. I would also throw in there that whenever anyone says world or earth, they are immediately envisioning a globe in their mind. And so what I've been trying to do is include surface of the earth all the time. Surface.
Yeah, or across.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Across the face of the earth is one of my favorites. But yeah, just keep bringing it back to the surface every time. When I'm typing, same you guys too, right? You write the word world or you write the word earth, and the little globe emoji comes. Right? It's always there.
Yeah.
So
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Please stay off my back or I will attack, and you don't want that. Dun 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 dun. I've got the power.
Yeah, how you doing, everybody? Especially those guys in the flip side.
Hey.
Wicked.
Hello. Good to be here.
Good morning.
Good to have you all. Excellent stuff.
How are you?
Very well indeed. Now, we're going to be doing a part 3 today of covering AsmonGold. In the past, I've been criticised for not covering videos to their conclusion. I tend to get through the first 4 minutes of a 25-minute video, call it a day because I've responded to what I want to respond to and I'm already irritated with it. But so that we actually do complete this video, as it's literally the second time we've actually covered this video. We covered it when it first came out, and we covered it when... now. So this is the second time around. So instead of just getting through 6 minutes of it or whatever it is we did in the first attempt, we are plodding our way through the entirety of the video. And there's been some very interesting points, hopefully that won't get me completely demonetized in the pre-show. That is to say, in the pre-show, with reactions from both myself and the panel and Discord, AsmonGold suggested that because people are stupid and believe Earth's flat, they should have their voting rights taken away. Now, I took it to an extreme where I suggested he should be castrated because he's wrong, just by contrast and comparison. Not that I'm actually suggesting AsmonGold should have his balls removed. But nevertheless, that was the sentiment that I had put to me by him, and then it got described by me as him being Hitler, a fascist. Because in reality, what's actually occurring is AsmonGold is projecting his own ineptitude and stupidity onto a flat Earth audience based on the deception that he's suffering at the hands of Sabine Hosselenfelder. So, with that in mind, we're going to get straight into it, and I am going to invite my panel to do a bit more of a reaction than myself, although it always seems to be the case I start out with the best of intentions, but knowing that I don't want my opponent, in this case AsmonGold, to copyright strike my video, if the video goes on too long without somebody telling me to stop, I've got to step in. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. So if you just end up listening for 3 minutes of AsmonGold's video, you can come along and say, well, you're just publishing my video on your channel. So I can't let that happen. But hopefully, with a little bit of luck, we will get some reactions from both the Flipside Discord server, which you're all, if you're in the live audience, invited to join, or indeed my G+ panel, now called Meet. I don't know why I don't like calling it Meet.
A couple of times I said pause, but you didn't hear me. I will say it louder.
Yeah, do. Okay, we're going to get back into it. It's running at a slightly quicker speed because I do want to conclude. I don't want to do a part 4.
Earth is just simply a vehicle to express that belief. So even if you disproved flat Earth to this person, this wouldn't actually change how they think.
Pause. If they could show me proof of a globe, I would no longer be a flat earther. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is a good example of rock and hard place. So his suggestion is that if they come along and disprove their, what he's calling a theory, I'm not going to call it that, but then you're stuck in the rock and hard place. The rock is an understanding that Earth's measured flat. Now, in this particular example of Earth being measured flat, it's used to make your ball. Now, if you deny the flat Earth, which is what he's suggesting, or if you show these people are wrong, what the hard place, where we're wrong about Earth being measured flat, well, then you've got no measurements to build a ball with. You don't have a ball to believe in if you don't measure Earth flat. What's that? You want to accept that Earth is measured flat, but then is calculated into a ball. Now, that's a contradiction in terms. You can't violate the base principle measurement of a flat plane. And when you accept and want to utilise those flat plane measurements, for example, Aristophanes' sticks and shadows that you did utilise, AsmonGold, then you're on the rock, where you will sink to your knees in understanding that Earth is measured flat.
Did he say, you may want to rewind it just to 5 seconds or so. Did he say that flat earthers, or they use flat Earth as a vehicle to do something?
Earth is flat is just simply a point of reference to explain that the government and the elites and science and society is a manufactured lie that's created to oppress them. That's what they really believe, and flat Earth is just simply a vehicle to express that belief.
There. Flat Earth is a vehicle to express their belief. That's turning flat Earth into the, we got to find another word for it, the PSYOP.
No, that's the right word. We used it in the pre-show, and I want to encourage people to become a member to listen to the very controversial, in terms of describing AsmonGold being castrated by a contrast and equivalence to his own suggestions of what we should have happen to us. But yeah, we did describe it as a PSYOP. If you take flat Earth, it's about people, statistics, conspiracies. That's what flat Earth is about. What does flat and Earth actually mean? Well, it's how flat Earth is when we measure it. These two things are separate from one another, so PSYOP is the right word.
Yeah, but it's exactly. He turned it, the PSYOP is the vehicle, and it is the method by which people are trying to operate in this realm of discussion and thought and philosophy, and turning it into a religious war between the Helios version and the biblically cosmologically more accurate description of Earth, and it's becoming huge. But when it really, we just need to bring it down to how is it measured? Let's move on and not worry about all that other stuff. AsmonGold's in the world of the vehicle, for how this debate is structured. And we just need to stay out of that.
So even if
Yeah,
you
if I could
disproved
just get in
flat
there
Earth, did this
quickly.
person?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, yeah, he's turning our actual knowledge into a belief, because we do actually do the measurements to actually know. So we're not actually believing in anything. So it's just misrepresenting us completely.
He
Exactly,
is.
and
And Neil has said in the pre-show that it was not his fault, right? And I'm going to kind of agree with him in this regard, right? When I'm currently writing the book, I'm talking about all roads leading to a flat Earth. And that means that the measurements that you'll utilise to create a ball. But Neil has pointed out that conspiracies lead to flat Earth. That is to say, to have the people who describe this subject be the type of person that will describe a conspiratorial aspect of it. Appeal to the globe projections and the azimuthal equidistance and talk about domes and ice walls. Those sorts of things are what flat Earth has become, because you can make it that way by directing a certain type of person towards it. Now, that means that the upshot for the person that wants to manipulate the masses, how we're describing a psyop, gets to have someone like AsmonGold respond to what is the perception, genuinely speaking, of flat Earth. So it's not his fault that what has been created around flat Earth is a psyop. He's going to respond to what he's got in front of him. Now, the fact is that it's got so bad and so egregious that even when you search for it, you won't find anything to do with flat Earth. You find Sabine talking about how it isn't a flat Earth and what she says flat Earthers are and what they believe in. So it's got so egregious that in my opinion, censorship will start becoming obvious. It's called the Streisand effect.
This wouldn't actually change how they...
Go ahead. Or are you just agreeing?
Well, I was trying to add a point, so I would do it right now because I wanted to respond to Neil's point, rather a counter to it, that Neil, if you are given evidence of globe Earth, then you would accept it. Just like if you were given evidence of a roast chicken Earth, you would accept it. But that is not going to change the fact that it all starts from flat Earth prerequisites. So you just said that I would no longer be a flat earther, but I suppose you would still have to be a flat earther.
That's not what I'm saying. If they showed outright proof of a globe, it could be anything. I use Christianity as an example. If I was shown outright proof that this is just nothing but a lie and people put it there for control, and I was given the evidence, I couldn't follow it no more. We were given outright evidence that it's a globe, then none of us would be flat earthers. The problem is we have no evidence for a globe because it's measured flat.
That's exactly right, Neil, and that's where AsmonGold is totally misrepresenting us. We're using the word belief.
They think. Because flat Earth, it's like basically, it's a mining canary, right? It's a mining canary. It indicates something that's a lot worse deeper down. And you got to ask yourself why.
Going deeper will be a vector with respect to a plane of reference. Mining would also require flat Earth measurements. I'm being dead serious. People think I'm joking when I say this, right? It's not because it's a pun or a play on words. These are facts. You're going to go down beneath the surface level. You're going to be digging perpendicular to a plane of reference. That's how you calculate mining. So every word that slips out this mouth is going to prove a flat Earth.
I laugh because it's a good pickup. I didn't pick it up.
And everyone does that. That's where we need to, with good humor and just a slight nudge, nudge, nudge. That's you got to be at the horizontal plane there. Don't you think? Well, you've been measuring it like that forever. So why are you denying those measurements? Just get them to understand they've been measuring it flat all the time. That way, eventually, the AsmonGolds will eventually say, oh, well, we knew it was flat all the time because we've measured it that way.
Right. They didn't deny the measurements of the globe, did they? They accepted them measurements, didn't they?
Did I, John, my favourite? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was kind of laughing to myself. I didn't say anything.
Well, if you do, just let me know.
is it that people have that much distrust? Why is it that people don't understand the shit? It's a huge web of conspiracy theories? Exactly, yeah. It's a conspiracy theory, and...
Here it comes. So this is the perception, right? This is what I'm calling, in claw hands, flat Earth. It's all about the conspiracies. It's all about the people. It's about the stats. It's about the surveys. It's about how many searches have been done on YouTube. That's what flat Earth's made into. That's the psychological operation.
The Earth being flat and the science of the Earth being flat, this is...
Sorry, that's a category error. You can't have science of being flat. Flat's an aspect. Now, you can describe it with geometry, or if you're going to ascribe that to an Earth description, that's geography. Ultimately governed with mathematics when you describe the measurements. Category error.
Nathan,
this is going to sound
good.
He's shown us the, don't forget, he's shown us the scientific elevation angle yesterday. Remember?
Yes, he did he? I might as well pause on this so I can educate the audience in case there's people smarter than AsmonGold actually watching this. So in terms of what we're describing, when we describe creating a ball with elevation angle measurements taken from surface level, in other words, rock and hard place like I described earlier, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the plane of reference being utilised like the Earth is a giant protractor. So you've got you in hell. No, you're not. Let's just ignore that straight away. Ignore the fact that this has got a nice colourful map painted on it. And understand that we've got east and south, or whatever, directionalities with respect to this section. A flat plane that we can measure an angle along the surface to the sun. Now, through said angle, you can ascribe the surface at radius 3959, derived from Polaris, measured flat also, into this as a protractor. And around this, you can put the celestial sphere. But it makes the globe Earth a glorified 3959 mile in radius protractor. That's all it is. That's what this length would be, 3959. And then this would be the protractor view that you measure the angles from this point in the centre of the protractor with respect to this, a flat planar surface, fundamental to describing Earth in any capacity. Now, if you take heliocentric motion, for example, orbital motion, when you look at the circle, it bifurcates this through this point. That's to say that the motion of the circle around the sun described in heliocentrism cuts through the centre of the ball described as a protractor, as I've just done. That means that to have the motion, it must be mathematically calculable from this point, in hell. Why? Because that's where all the derivative measurements of the surface level have originated. So when you expand it out into a ball, a glorified protractor, it will only and can only function from this point, inside the ball you believe you're standing on. Now, after you've created that specific system through Kepler and Huygens, a creation of the Roman Catholic Church, you can then back engineer it so that you start on the outside edge on a tangent plane and at some stage convert what you've measured on a flat tangential plane to a ball that you believe is dangling beneath you into hell, so that you can functionally operate within the glorified protractor of a globe Earth inside the extended and described as infinite celestial sphere. Now, this is how the world has, there's no debating this, been measured and calculated into sphericity for you, my ball-believing dumbass audience, to believe in. Now, this isn't up for debate, it's not up for discussion, these are just me rattling off facts. Facts of how heliocentrism came to pass by measuring Earth flat.
Stupid. Doesn't matter. What matters is that this is a global conspiracy that's being pushed worldwide.
First true things he said. Global conspiracy. Correct. The conspiracy is to create a ball for you to believe it's beneath your feet. Let's have some more interruptions.
Which indicates that there is a worldwide conspiracy to suppress knowledge from the public. That's the actual conversation.
Who's nice of them to say worldwide? Who's nice of them to say worldwide, not global?
Yeah, those two things are old school language and new school language being interweaved with one another. But it's more the sentiment I'm interested in. He's correct. His assessment is that there's a global conspiracy. That's how he described it. That was his terminology, not mine. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there is a global conspiracy. The world beneath your feet isn't a globe. But as a religion, it's the one world religion. It's called heliocentrism. It's what the world has been convinced to believe in. That is accurately described as a global conspiracy. End quote, AsmonGold.
This is
Those
just
are the
bullshit.
first two words he said. Global conspiracy. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
And it's always ended with some of the Jews did it? Absolutely. Yeah, and so that's what...
No, the Roman Catholic Church did it 500 years ago. You plucked that figure out of your ass when you decided how long modern science was been created for. No, 500 years is approximately how long it's been since the invention of heliocentrism by the Roman Catholic Church.
That's the real reason. Why is Flat Earth so popular if it's bullshit?
He is basically Hitler, isn't he? He's talking about the Jews out of context to demonize them. Talking about having people's rights taken away. You're a fascist.
Simple. Because a lot of people don't trust established places of...
So why would we base anything to do with Earth on trust? That's what morons do. You do that.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah, correct.
Authority.
You trust
That's the real
measurements,
reason.
That's for sure.
Say again, one deck.
Just saying the only thing you will be trusting is the measurements.
You know, that's a good point, One Deck, because he's trusting in the establishment. Well, if I have a foreman on a job and he tells me to take a measurement and I take a measurement, but the superintendent is telling me that it's something else, I'm going to go with the measurement, not what the superintendent said it's supposed to be on a blueprint.
Well said. Well said.
Great analogy as well. New and brilliant, Neil.
I bet that if you did a correlation between people who don't trust authority and people who believe in flat Earth, you would have nearly a perfect correlation.
Baseless assertion, generalization, and stereotyping all in one fallacy. That's 3 all in one statement. That's quite an achievement.
Because flat Earth is merely a symptom for the problem and not the disease.
That's just meaningless nonsense.
We should just encourage them to get better at it. And then maybe one day they'll figure out that it's actually much easier to explain their observations if they stop believing that the Earth is flat.
Believing in observations, is that what we do when we measure the surface level from sea level for flight level, parallel with it? No, I'm going to go with no. No, there's no belief required. Idiot.
Another reason I think we should take flat earthers seriously is that a lack of science education is more of a societal failure than a personal one. Luckily, there's an easy way to grow your scientific background knowledge.
Really? Because the guy responding to you thought that science was about how many potatoes you eat and how many teeth you lose. I'm not even joking. Go back to part 1. Meanwhile, science is the establishment of the cause of naturally occurring phenomena. That's stuff that occurs in the physical and natural world, aka physics. Exclusively governed by the scientific method. Step 1, observe something happening in physical reality. That's a naturally occurring phenomena. Step 2, formulate a cause and effect supposition. That's an if and then statement, with the if statement being your independent variable and the then statement being the dependent variable, aka what you observed at step 1. So step 1 already has half of the hypothesis in the form of the dependent variable. Your task is to suppose a cause of that phenomena in an if statement. If this, then that. Alongside a scientific prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis, you have a null hypothesis, otherwise known as a zero difference result. That is to say, if my supposed causal influencer, then no effect. If you fail to validate your alternative hypothesis, you ipso facto validate the null hypothesis. If this, not that, tick, it's confirmed. The ultimate aim is to validate the alternative, that is to say, prove what causes the effect you observed at step 1 by performing step 3, the actualization of a hypothesis or hypothesis test. otherwise known as an experiment. An experiment being the variation and manipulation of a presumed cause which must be real, must be your independent variable, and must be capable of being varied by you, the researcher, to see if it causes the effect you observed at step 1. If you vary and manipulate your presumed cause of the effect and cause the effect, you have a valid experiment. You have proven the alternative. Tick. The alternative is validated. Ergo, at the end of the process, you can only validate the alternative hypothesis if you presume the correct cause, or validate the null. Validation is the only outcome, hence its methodology is empirical. Why have I gone to the extent of explaining this to my audience on this occasion in greater depth? Because this is the trick. It's a powerful tool for proving things. Now, if you taught this in high school, as we all are, then you have it in the back of your mind that when you use one of the words that I've just used, that's hypothesis, experiment, phenomena, physics, science. When you use some of these magic words, it creates an impression that if I say Earth's a ball because science said so, you'll nod along like AsmonGold because you're not busy wanking. Now, in reality, this is not a science subject. This is a mathematical one. When it comes to Earth, we're not validating the cause of any phenomenon. It's a concrete noun to describe Earth as a plane when we measure it for the purposes of geography, not science. But the world's been deceived into believing that there's an empirical outcome attached to the inferences used in the language. It's a category error. We're not doing science if we're measuring Earth flat.
Which is on brilliant.org.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think that you can do that. I think that the bottom 10 or 20% of people, in terms of critical thinking intelligence, will never be able to fully accept that the Earth is round because...
Well, okay. I mean, you've got it asked about face in terms of what they'd have to accept, but you're in that bottom 10%. You don't know it. You're here in a popular way to dumb the world down, AsmonGold. You don't know it because you're Dunning-Kruger. But you're here. Your purpose on the face of God's green earth is to make people more stupid. You don't even know it, do you?
Because they're stupid. There are a lot of people that have, everybody has a different level cap for different things. Like, for example, my level cap for playing FPS is quite low. Other people's level...
He's just compared his intelligence to how well he plays video games. Off the scale, man. Off the scale.
Cap for being intelligent is also quite low. You're never going to teach a dog to do chess. It's not going to happen. Making it the goal that everybody understands and believes in science.
A false comparison fallacy.
Is a waste of time, and it will never happen. Not anytime soon, not without some type of technological advancement of intelligence. People fundamentally are stupid. They are only slightly above monkeys, and...
This is projection. Come on, guys. Pipe up. Talk over me in this instance. You've got my permission. I want to hear your opinions.
I just want to point out...
I'm in the chat. I'm typing.
Go ahead, John.
I just want to point out that intelligence is not needed for this particular subject. It's measurement. You don't need much intelligence for that.
That's correct. But they make it that it's intelligent. Like you got to be this super brain. That's why they dazzle you with all this stuff with heliocentrism, because they're smart. They know what they're doing. Well, it's as simple as measurement.
Yeah, but it makes it about people, doesn't it? John's right. He's absolutely correct. It's not about intelligence. It's about measurement. But by suggesting that it is, it stops it being about measurement and makes it about people and their intelligence level.
Yeah, I've always said flat Earth is child's play at the end of the day, because 8-year-olds can go out and make those measurements and prove to themselves that the Earth's flat. It's not requirement of a master's, a doctorate, a PhD. These are not qualifications you need for this. Thank you.
But you can't get a snail to bake a cake.
And monkeys can play video games.
I mean, it's only when we can get snails to make cakes that we can assess people based on their intelligence level.
The bottom 10% are so stupid that it's unsalvageable. It's completely...
That's you. You don't know it. I mean, I pity you for it, but you are this 10% that you're describing. You don't even know it. Because how would you? Look at what Dunning-Kruger actually means. It was in this video.
Unsalvageable. There's nothing that you can do to bring them back. Can't do anything.
I really like.
Just want to point out that in this video, you've admitted that if your internet went out, you would spend the entire time wanking. Can I just point that out to the audience? That's his own confession in this very video.
Brilliance courses because they get to the point very quickly and help me to remember the key facts. All of Brilliance courses come with interactive visualizations and follow-up questions. This gives
How long before he realises he's watching an ad? How long do you reckon? Should we have bets?
you a feeling for what's going on, and it also lets you check whether you understood it right away. I even have my own course on Brilliant. It's a beginner's course for quantum physics.
This will convince
it
the flat
explains what
earthers.
the wave function is. And
This is an ad. This is an ad, AsmonGold. Sorry, what were you saying? Something about the lowest 10%? You couldn't make it up.
I got some information. I think he might be in chat.
You think AsmonGold's in our chat?
Yes, down as the big clout seller, which I don't doubt because
I'm talking to him.
You're speaking to him in chat? No, it could be him. It couldn't be him. But it's very easy to come on.
I would be so surprised if AsmonGold was in our chat. Somebody pretending to be AsmonGold. Yeah, I'll buy that.
And what superpositions and entanglement are. It also covers the uncertainty.
Go ahead, John.
I would welcome him to come and speak to us and explain to us how he knows it's a sphere. And
the first thing I'd do is tell him off. I wouldn't. Arthur, you're off mute. You're trying to add something. The first thing I'd do is tell him off. And if he was conciliatory, then we might have a nice discussion. But say in your video, you've suggested that because people are wrong about flat Earth, they should have their voting rights taken away. You little Hitler. What have you got to say about it? And I'd find out his opinion and get him to condemn himself. Because according to him, by being wrong, that would be whatever he then professed to having done to that individual that he's describing in the third person. Now, obviously, immediately we'd take him to how he's utilised a flat plane of reference in the form of Eratosthenes to suggest he's on a sphere, making him acutely aware of how flat Earth must be measured because he used it in his example. At which point I'd ask him whether or not the standards he just brought up would be applicable to him. That's to say, by the very bare bones admission on this video we've heard already, he should have his voting rights taken away from him and see how he likes it.
Yeah, and the fact that he's in a category error with the science and measurement problem.
Sure, but if we're going to get anywhere with society in this subject arena, we need to hold the mirror up to their disgusting behaviour. And in this case, his disgusting behaviour is so egregious that because he feels someone's wrong about his belief in a ball, they should be persecuted for it. Now, I think that just makes him a disgusting human being at this point. I didn't really have an opinion about him up until now. I've got to be honest, it was the only thing that's triggered me to feel this way. Like, I only have such passion for teachers, generally speaking. But when somebody expresses that kind of vitriol, you're like, that is so disgusting.
I mean, it's really sad.
Is only expressed. That kind of vitriol is only expressed because he does hold a belief and he holds it so strongly. I don't think it would be fair to hold that standard up to him right away. Maybe later.
You don't think it would be fair to hold his own standard? You don't think it would be fair to hold his own standard up by way of literally holding a mirror up to him? You don't think that would be reasonable?
Well, not immediately. It would be, but not immediately, because you.
No, I think immediately would do well, John.
Just let John get to the end of his point. Hold on. Not immediately because, and then Jin. John, if you can just finish off that point. Not immediately because, and then we'll go to Jin.
Because he doesn't understand, and if you do hold that up immediately, he'll never accept the information. He won't even try to take it in.
Okay, go ahead, Jin. Then I've got something to respond to that with. Go ahead.
Yeah, I get your point, John, but I still would think that we need to pull him up anyway at some point. I'll say that and stop there.
For me, while I agree with John, John's obviously a lot more empathetic than I am in this regard. I don't care if he takes in my information. I'm spitting facts about how Earth's measured, and it doesn't make any consequence whether or not AsmonGold understands it or not, accepts it or not, realises it or not. In reality, his standard is that people should be persecuted because they don't believe as he believes. Now, when we demonstrate that his belief is fundamentally incorrect because the belief's based on flat earth measurements, is he going to accept the standards that he's laid down be applied to him? That's what I'd want to know. Because on a societal level, that's what we're dealing with. If we're going to talk about how it's about Dunning-Kruger, even though it's labelled incorrectly as science, you, that's ball-believing clowns, have bought this as the standard. Now, does it make any consequence to me? No, Earth's measured flat regardless of whether or not we dice up how disgusting you lot are and how you've behaved over the last, whatever it's been, 10 years for me personally, probably an eternity in terms of the 500 years since flat Earth's been introduced with psyops that make us ridiculed in societal standards and have that be acceptable. Now, I'm going to hold a mirror up to that. Does it change how AsmonGold won't accept that it's measured? I couldn't give a shit if AsmonGold accepts that it's measured flat. It is. Doesn't make any difference if AsmonGold accepts it. I'm not talking with disdain to John either. I'm talking to my ball-believing audience and their disgusting behaviour. While they've held their head up seemingly high, they've simultaneously condemned and demeaned people around them for not holding what is actually a belief. I feel it's only necessary that if that's the standard that they wanted to use for the last 10 years, making it about people and how they behave and what they should expect as treatment as a result, then they should only expect the exact same back when people start to appreciate Earth's measured flat. Now, there's going to be people out there that have gone out of their way to deceive people into believing that they're on a ball derived from flat Earth measurements. Incongruent with the facts of measurement, well, those people might actually get persecuted. The same level of persecution they've directed at people like me for the last 10 years. Now, this, in my humble opinion, is what really terrifies our anti-flat Earth brethren. Your Simon Dans and your Craig McNeils are absolutely scared shitless by this fact that I've just detailed.
Nathan, just in case it is the guy, hold on. Can you break down what you mean? When you say Earth is measured flat, give this guy, AsmonGold, an example of what you mean by Earth being measured flat.
In terms of a reference, we describe all height measurements or depressions with respect to sea level. Where are you now and how high you are of sea level is something that's easily acquirable as information that's been attained through Earth measurements. And those Earth measurements came from sea level. Sea level itself is an axiomatic flat Earth principle. Flight level, when you're in transit over the surface of the Earth, is parallel with respect to the sea level measured with the altitude. Altitude itself, that's height, is measured off surface level, or for an altimeter with respect to sea level, adjusted for the ground topology that's below you that's also been measured with respect to sea level. Every measurement of Earth, always and without exception, is flat.
And the Greeks all knew that.
Principle and Bell's theorem. And afterwards, you can continue learning more about your favorite topics in science, computer science, or maths.
Yeah,
whether
they're gonna
that's
take
special
this for sure.
relativity or quantum computing, Brilliant has you
He still hasn't realised it's an ad. Or he's realised it and realised he's seeming stupid, so he's rolling with it, doubling down.
covered. If you use our link brilliant.org/Sabine, you'll get to try out everything on.
Did you see the little frown? That was where the penny dropped. Did you see this frown? He's
Play it again. I missed it. Just play that again.
No, I'm not going to. Sorry.
Brilliant for 30 days for free, and you'll get 20% off the annual premium subscription. So
I'm going to do the same. If you want to support me in what I do, give me money. Don't give Sabine money to support some shit that she's promoting. Give me money. Send me PayPals, hit the super chat, join me on Patreon. Moreover, this is the way I definitely suggest on this particular episode to give it a focus. Become a member. Listen to the rest of what we discussed about AsmonGold in the pre-show. It's gold. Like real gold.
I mean, I think with somebody like him,
Good.
I think with somebody like this guy now, because he's getting pretty nasty about flat earthers and the things he's been saying, which you've pointed out, I believe that a lot of these people at this point have realised or are realising that the Earth is not a globe, and this is the hard place or the difficult place he's in. So this is the way he has to deal with it. Is listening for her advice. He's backing himself up with ad homs because it can't be true. He knows it's true, but he doesn't want it to be true. That's how I feel about this.
Oh, you're saying he's gone to
Yeah,
this
one
video
deck. That's his coping mechanism. His coping mechanism. That's what it is.
Confirmation bias is what I was going to say, but coping mechanism is probably better.
See you tomorrow.
Ads.
Again, I think that the way that scientists, and this is the problem, right, is that scientists and people that are scientifically minded have a approach that is scientific to dealing with flat earthers.
Are you suggesting that phenomena is incurred when you talk about flat earthers? That's psychology and sociology. I mean, again, a different category error, but a category error nonetheless. That's just hilarious.
Yeah, but Nathan, he said science 6 times, so come on, it must mean something. You know what I mean?
What does it mean to be scientifically minded?
That's just a bullshit term modern science has come up with. Go ahead, Jin.
Yeah, sorry, I was saying nothing could be further from the truth. But, you know, all that garbage he came out with. Unbelievable.
And they don't understand the real reason why flat earthers exist. Flat earthers exist as a metaphor to a larger problem, which is a distrust of established authority.
Now, that's the consequence when people appreciate that Earth's measured flat. When they realise that the subject matter isn't a debating subject, it stops being the focus. That is to say, the quote-unquote flat Earth, the people in it, the stats, that's the current focus. Once people realise that there wasn't ever a debate to have, there was just a flat Earth measurement for everything always that we still use, always will use, then what you've stated kicks in. People then will potentially distrust government, distrust authority. That's the consequence, not the cause.
Flat Earth is just an element of it.
All right, go ahead, Neil.
I go back to my superintendent analogy. If the government's telling me it's a sphere and I measure it flat, I'm going with the measurements. I don't care who's in charge in government.
And that's just the problem. Suddenly you don't care who's in charge in government. This guy's very focused on it. He wants to take away our vote. So it's his primary focus, I give you. Go ahead, whoever that was.
I was going to say, I love you, Neil. You tied your analogy back to the subject perfectly.
Every single flat earther probably believes 10 or 15 other stupid conspiracies.
Yeah, that's where you've got it absolutely right. Finally, we get an assessment that I can lean into and give AsmonGold some props. Yeah, I've been describing it for this whole show. Flat Earth is about conspiratards. When Neil suggested that the analogy of my late description and rhetoric of all roads leading to a flat Earth is more comparable to all conspiracies take you to flat Earth, because you can now give your assessment as you've just done about the people, not about flat Earth, two words that have nothing to do with conspiracy, people, and their idiocy that they spew when they call themselves flat earthers. But that can become your focus now, AsmonGold. Not your fault, but it's not the first, it's about the third true thing you've said.
That's what I think. And I think, again, if you, and by the way, how many of you guys have noticed that a lot of people that are really into conspiracies, on average, are more religious?
Again, he's not necessarily right, but notice the dogged determination and authority he states when he actually knows something to be true, rather than the stuttery, stammery idiocy that he's been spewing up until now while he nods along to Sabine. She's off screen now, and he's talking and pooling from his own experience and talking about how there's a lot of flat earthers who are conspiratards. Now, he's also saying that there's a lot of religious Bible bashers or whatever he's now going to pour scorn on in terms of those same conspiracy theorists. I don't know if I agree with that. Go ahead. No? Okay.
Have you guys ever noticed that? This is a good video. I'll link it to you guys. Yes. You know why? Because they're predisposed to believe bullshit with no evidence.
I'll lean into his plug as well. So he said, it's a good video. I'll link it to you. Okay, well, in this particular instance, I'm going to link that's my live audience to AsmonGold's video. So if you're in my live stream audience currently, please go and let AsmonGold know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed by the YouTube algorithmic bots or indeed by AsmonGold himself. I want him to hear this. So ideally, there'd be enough of you actually toddling along, and I'll keep repeating this over and over again so you do it. I'm not just saying it for my health. To his channel, and leave a polite comment. Just say, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. He wanted you to hear a real flat earther discussing the subject matter in detail. He's done a 3-part dissection of your video and your responses to Sabine Hoslenfelder. So please do, if you are in my audience, pop along to AsmonGold's video and leave a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed by the bots or by him that says, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. The reason for me directing an audience to AsmonGold, it doesn't exactly need my help, he's got 4+ million subscribers, is so that, like he's just done for Sabine Hoslenfelder, he'd extend the same courtesy to me. It might be a tough pill to swallow, but by the same token, I've got 2 kids to feed and a mortgage, actually 2, to pay, by doing this as my job, by dedicating 10 years so I can correct you. Now, I might have a bit of disdain for the fact that you've been a bit of a little Hitler when you're describing taking people's voting rights away from them, but ultimately this isn't your fault, and it was disclaimed by my assisting panel at the beginning of this process, that it's not you represent Normie. And you're doing a pretty good job. So therefore, the scorn that I've poured, don't take it too personally, like I explained to Jin in the pre-show. You're just a conduit for us to convey this information to a wider audience. And I would hope, if you can take it on your chin, grow a pair, and accept what is reality in terms of measurements as opposed to conspiratards spewing nonsense about 9/11, then you'll put a link to my video if you respond to this, AsmonGold. So yeah, if you're in my audience, pop along, let him know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Hopefully he'd do the same for me if he was to make a video in response to this one.
You think it'd be nice if he did respond or come along and have a chat, because he does seem quite heavily sort of, bothered about this situation, doesn't he? So, rather than just leave it at this now, come on board and have a chat with us, guys, and we'll tell you about how Earth is measured and how you've got science wrong.
Me, I'm less keen. I mean, I appreciate your sentiment towards him, but I meant it when I said it earlier. It really does not concern me in the slightest whether or not he understands this stuff. It does, at a societal level, concern me that people want to take away other people's rights because they don't believe as they do. That, to me, is pretty disgusting. But beyond that, it's like, do I care that AsmonGold can't comprehend, presumably because he's too stupid, how flat Earth is measured? He's used it in his own examples and not spotted it. Well, could you say, oh, well, you didn't spot it for 10 years? Yeah, well, we're not talking about me.
But he's wanting to take rights away from flat earthers. Sorry, I lost my thought. Terrible.
Evidence. Or partial evidence. That's the reason. Everybody knows it. That's the reason. So it's like, basically, right? Well, if you're going to believe that bullshit, I got something else for you. And
there it is. Yeah. Castration.
There it is. That's an awful take. Why? Let's find out why. Why is it an awful take? Let's go. Let's figure it out. You shouldn't trust most science since it's mainly theory, but all scientific law should be learned, followed, and understood.
The audience are incorrect in terms of their assessment. There's 2 different things at play when you describe science and laws of nature. Laws of nature describe that which occurs always. Yeah, most often mathematically. I think it might always be mathematically in terms of laws of nature. But you're describing that which occurs always. Maths is just a descriptive format. When you talk about science, it's cause and effect reasoning. That's to say, hypothesis construction relies on there being a natural phenomena in the first instance. Something you can actually observe occurring and go, I wonder what caused that. That's physics. The study of the physical natural world. Cause and effect. You've got to have an effect. So you're in a category area if you try and describe that which occurs always, like gas dispersion, to violate the base principle of 110-year out-of-date gravity, which describes all things tending towards the surface parallel to a plane of reference. You'll need a flat Earth for that, but it's wrong. Gas dispersion is described within the second law of thermodynamics. That's entropic dispersion of gases. It's just a description of how they behave, always and without exception. They spread out to fill space. Now, that simultaneously debunks outer space, somewhere that AsmonGold suggested we should go to look at Earth being, quote, round, down, perpendicular to a plane also, up in altitude and trajectory, measured from a plane of reference also. But when he says it, he means go up to a sky vacuum that doesn't exist. It's violating what he's just called, inaccurately from his chat, a scientific law. Now, that's a contradiction. Laws describe, science explains.
scientific law. I mean, and what is the law? Like gravity? Because gravity, where does gravity come from?
Right, gravity as a law? No. You are literally 110 years out of date, AsmonGold. No, the law, what, Newtonian gravity, when things go down, go boom, boom, go splash, splash. Fart. You've done it plenty when you're not wanking. What happens? Does it go down? Does it form a puddle? Or does it spread out, letting the entire house know how dirty and stinky you are? Look up at a cloud and know that your out-of-date claim to be law. Yeah, another word that's hijacked. Another word that's used to convince idiots of rhetoric that has come from the church 500 years ago. No. You don't have a law of gravity. Not all things tend towards the ground. Look up at the clouds, pass gas, learn what entropy is. Then you'll understand there's a distinction between if and then, that's cause and effect, and a description of something that occurs always. In this case, entropy, the dispersion of gases into volumes. Something that violates the base principle of the area of volume you thought we could be sent up to as flat earthers when we're not having our voting rights taken away from us. Outer space is fake. There is no sky vacuum. If the sky was a vacuum, in line with a law of nature known as entropic dispersion, the gas would fill the space. We'd have no gas to breathe. We'd all be dead.
Comes from mass. Where does mass come from? The planet. How is the planet infected? How does the planet...
Go ahead.
It is worth pointing out right now that they have been using the word explain willy-nilly all throughout the video, both Asmon and Sabine, that even if you explain it to flat earthers that it is a globe. So if you correctly, technically use the word explain, you don't really need to explain that it is a globe. You just need to give the measurements for it. And we are giving measurements of flat earth. So they have been using this word willy-nilly all throughout this video and bringing back the topic of science when it is not really the subject of discussion.
Create gravity through its size. What is its size? It's round. Think about it.
What's its size? Triangle.
Right? It's, just use a little bit of logic here. So do we have a single... I'll give him like one more minute, then we're going to move on because we got so much else that we got to do today. I don't want to waste... he finally typed something. Jesus can be proven, and he died and came back. There's over 500 testimonies proving that he came back over 40 days.
That's the standard. We covered this yesterday, right? So one of your audience has basically, without giving you a hint of why they've done it in the way they have, used the standard that's appropriate. If you're going to prove that Jesus existed, you go to a historic standard. You were using science incorrectly, and now your chat's got the better of you.
There's over 500 testimonies from like what?
I mean, if 500 people said it, then it must be true.
And how about everything else? How about Moses talking to a burning bush? You think that happened?
Oh my God. That's the way you hand wave dismiss being completely obliterated by somebody in your own chat. What about Moses? I love the way he shifted uncomfortably too, because he doesn't know how to cope with it. He doesn't know what standard's been used against him, does he? Doesn't realise that what the person from the chat has done is taken the actual appropriate standard that's applicable and just put it to him.
How about Jonah living in a fish? You think that happened? How about Muhammad flying around the world on a horse? You think that happened? Come on. Joseph Smith translating the tablets out of a hat.
Sorry, you think the ball is beneath your feet? I could just apply this same crappy standard to you. You think you've got a ball beneath your feet? You think there's a sky vacuum? This isn't a standard for argumentation, right? It's you making baseless assertions. That's all you're doing. It's called a hand wave dismissal fallacy.
You think sea level's curved?
Did that happen? Come on. The fuck out of here. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's obviously bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Like, what are we even talking?
I love the pitch. I love it. I like to take the piss out of people when they do this in front of me live. When they go all high-pitched. You know you've just been completely held over the coals by your chat skank when it comes to a standard that's applicable to whether or not Jesus existed. Whether or not I agree is irrelevant. The standard that's been applied is a historic one, therefore appropriate. And where do you go? Really high-pitched. Hilarious.
Talking about here? It's not even a question. It's not even. What are we even? What are we even?
Yeah, he just applied a historic standard to your stupid nonsense waffle, didn't he? Didn't do it for the actual subject at hand, did it for the spin-off subject of religion. But nevertheless, absolutely destroyed you, and now you've got you going high-pitched as you like. Brilliant.
What are we even indulging this for 3 seconds for? The people that saw him? No, it's not people that saw him. For sure. So that's not it.
So it's standard that people tell you stuff and you just accept it carte blanche if it agrees with your rhetoric of being on a ball. That's okay. But if someone says it, doesn't matter if it's 500 people if you don't agree with it. Okay. Sorry, is it just me, or is it one standard for accepting you're on a ball, someone told you, and yet 500 people can't tell you anything when it's documented historically in the correct and appropriate standard to be applied for this particular endeavour of inquiry? All right, 500's not enough. All right, one person telling you you're on a ball's enough. One person telling you how to generalise and stereotype an entire group of people called flat earthers is enough. 500 not enough for Jesus, though. Okay, very reasonable. What a clown.
You would think some ancestors, these people still have treasures passed down today, or family members' life? Exactly. Nah, bro, like, bro, you believe? Hey, you want to believe in religion, that's fine. That's fine. You can believe whatever you want. But you're not going to tell me.
Sorry, you believe in a religion. Your religion is the one world religion. Clever, because most people don't know it's their religion. I spent an entire year, 12 months ago, going through people on Omi TV and pointing this out to them. Did you know you were in a religion? The one world religion? It's called heliocentrism. It's a religion where you're on a ball flying around the sun. It was given to you by the Roman Catholic Church. They took flat Earth elevation angle measurements to things like Polaris to derive radial values on a flat plane, and then turned the protractor you measured those angles with into a ball that you now think you're standing on. It's been around for about 500 years and has been prevalent for about 300 years. Now, these aren't numbers I've plucked out my ass. This is based on research. Historical standards that I can apply to individual characters who gave us this rhetoric that you believe in as part of the one world religion. The religion you didn't even know you were in, AsmonGold. You're a heliocentrist. That's your religion.
Nathan, you're right on point, because religion requires faith. And to believe in a globe requires faith, because there is no proof. There's only measurements, and those measurements are flat.
He has admitted to it in the previous parts. His tacit affirmation was that they, flat earthers, believe in a globe. It's a tacit affirmation. I'm sorry, they, flat earthers, don't believe that it is a globe. It's a tacit affirmation that he believes it's a globe. He's in a faith. He chooses to be with the rest of the people who are in the faith.
That there is not a correlation there. You are not going to, I'll tell you for a fucking fact there's a correlation. And I think that it's really strong. It's a super strong correlation. It is so easy to finesse people. And it's, again, how do you take advantage of a stupid person? Sell them hope. Sell.
Well, the kind of new hope in Star Wars, that kind of hope. Also based on heliocentrism and the one world religion you're part of, just so you know.
Them hope in the idea that they're smart. And if you do that, they'll give you all their money because they're stupid. What do I?
Yeah, you play a part in this. You're part of the societal dumbing down that I described earlier in this show. That's your place here.
I believe that I am a monkey.
Yeah, I said that yesterday as well. Yeah, it's just a monkey.
Yeah. And the mysteries of the universe are mysteries. And I don't think that the human brain has the capacity to understand the implications of that. I don't think, like, basically, I think that in order to understand the universe, you have to have, like, I'm just talking theoreticals, right? An IQ of 6,000, and people have.
I love how he just plucks these numbers out of his ass. An IQ of 6,000? What is it, Hal? 6,000?
Between an IQ of like 80 and 250.
I'd put your IQ at about 80, if I was to guess.
But you need 6,000 to understand the universe.
Go ahead, sorry.
This is where you get when you deny the truth that God is true and God created everything. If you can't accept that you were created, that you get your knowledge of truth from God, then you devolve into absurdity. If you deny logic, deny truth, this is where you get, I'm a monkey and no one can tell me different. And all the people that believe in God are silly and should not vote. That's where you get when you deny the truth. And it's for this guy, poor guy, it's probably going to get worse. If he was in the chat just a while ago, I can see totally why he bailed.
Well, he was in the chat. He thinks Nathan is doing is reviewing his video for clout. You want to clear it up while you're doing it, Nathan?
I'm doing it for money. Somebody paid me £100 to cover it.
The guy's got 4 million viewers or whatever, so that's where his head is at. It's just in the his identity is built on the clout that the channel brings him. He's another approved critic.
Although I will give him some credit. If that was him and that was his assessment, in a way he's correct. So I'll just read out Unitox Family's super chat first and foremost. Got to pay the bills. So no religion if you have conceptual facts, says Unitox Family. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. So although I'm not doing it for clout, clout is the ultimate objective that was trying to be achieved by the person who paid me £100 to do it. So I've said categorically I don't want to cover videos like this anymore. That's to say anti-flat earth videos. Regardless of how many subscribers, that doesn't impress me very much, AsmonGold. Far from it, in fact. But in regards to the clout that would be potentially achieved, that's where Len was coming from when he wanted me to cover this video. And in order to get me to cover it, he just had to give me money. I'm interested in feeding my family. That's why I'm a YouTuber. This is my job. It's a very difficult job when you're censored. Now you, no doubt do the same thing, right? You're doing it for your family if you've got one. I don't know you personally. I don't know if you've got a family or a girlfriend or a wife, or I don't care if you have. But in terms of me trying to get clout out of you, no. But the person who paid me £100, absolutely. From what Len told me when he paid me to cover this video, he said, if this person reacts, he didn't say it in this term, but this is what he meant, you'll get clout out of it. That's what he meant. Now, Len's here, I think, so he might possibly pipe up and explain a bit further. But yeah, me, I'm like, money talks, pay me £100. I didn't suggest that he just paid me, but in metaphor, that's what's happened. Give me the money and I'll cover it. Yeah, I will. But what do I want to cover? I don't want to cover you. I want to cover people who go out and measure Earth flat. That's what we've been covering for the last couple of months. If AsmonGold was to watch this and go, he just wants clout, that's the only reason he's using my video. Not because you want to demean what I've actually said and write it off as though I'm only covering you because of clout. No, I'm only covering you specifically because I was paid to do so. Typically, I prefer to just cover people who measure Earth. Not measure Earth flat, Earth's ipso facto measured flat, and when anybody measures it, that fact is abundantly clear by the way they measure it. That's what I want to be covering, rather than people who want to take away people's voting rights, like scumbags. No, those aren't the kind of people. Those are nasty, horrible people, and I don't want to be involved. It annoys me. It gets my heart racing, and I don't need it. I'd rather be nice and calm rather than frustrated and irritated with scumbags who say that because people don't believe as they believe, they should have their voting rights taken away. No, I don't want to cover you. I want to cover normal, nice people. I really like the guy that was covering the trig points. Yeah, I described him as sniffing his own farts, but what I really mean by that is he was content and happy to describe how flat he was measuring Earth. No apologies for how ball-shaped it wasn't. Just described how Earth got measured with the trig points, with heights above surface level. That's what he described, with a sense of glee and delight as he did so. Now, did he have 4 million subscribers? No, he had 100,000. Still more than me. So by rights, he could come along and go, you're only covering me because I've got 100,000 subscribers for your clout. And again, it'd be just as absurd. Now, I don't believe for 1 second it's AsmonGold in our chat actually saying these things, but if it was, my sentiment would be the same. Do I need clout? Yeah! Got bills to pay, got 2 mortgages, I'm really poor. I've got to e-beg on a daily basis in my live stream just to keep the lights on. Why? Not because of my experience, not because of my expertise, not because of my dedication to YouTubing. I've done it for 10 to 15 years, 10 of which being flat Earth. Has it resulted in me having riches or driving a Lamborghini? No. But that's not ultimately my purpose here, if I'm going to trust that God's put me in the place I am. Not for clout, but to educate the masses in terms of how Earth is actually measured and how flat Earth has become about conspiratards. And anti-flat Earth has become about people telling you that the subject of geography and maths is actually science. That's my place here. Not just clout from someone called AsmonGold.
But Nathan, I think I've more than got my money's worth out of this video. Three-parter, and it'll only be even more valuable if we get his corp reaction to this video. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, actually, Liam. Yeah, thanks for choosing a good video. Well done, Nathan, for critiquing it. And let's not forget that guy who's measuring the Earth flat, as happy as he is doing his job, he's not thinking about the globe, but that's where he believes he lives on the globe, though. Let's not forget that, ladies and gentlemen. That's a fact. I'll lay my life on it.
Len, not Liam. I just want to add something just before Arthur goes. Arthur, you could go after me. I just want to say to Jin, it wasn't Liam, it was Len. But Len was the guy that actually paid me the £100. So it came up, it was shared in one of our back chats, and I said, no, I'm not covering this. And then I got a £100 super chat, not super chat, PayPal. It's like, please cover this. If he responds and echoed the sentiment that he just said. That is to say, if somebody's assessment was you're just doing it for clout, that would be accurate for Len. And because Len wants me to have clout, there's no other way I can put that, he's paid me to cover it in the hope that I'll get that clout. So I just don't want the, if it's a chat skank or if it was actually AsmonGold, it's irrelevant. The point is the same. And I just wanted to reiterate that that was actually the guy who paid me the £100 that just spoke. Go ahead, Arthur.
Yeah, too bad that Len did not know that you already covered it a year ago. Or maybe he decided to pay you notwithstanding. But my point is, as far as those normie covering flat earth topics, or not flat earth topics, but they just covering celestial navigation, oh my God, Nathan, I'm going to share some videos on Meet, and we will be covering in the next couple of days or maybe next week. But I have got some great videos. You won't believe what I got.
Yeah, slow as the snowball. Go ahead, Len.
Arthur, I'm aware we've covered this video before, but it's the extra layer of AsmonGold's view on the stereotypes and all the BS feast of nonsense and not actual flat earth evidence.
Yeah, well, thanks again, Lem. And I'm sorry I pronounced your name wrong there. Well, it's Liam, but it's Lem. Okay.
There is a Liam as well. There is another guy on the panel called Liam.
Yeah, that's Central Gold. I actually think it's perfect timing because that's all he's doing is talking about the feast of nonsense and putting us in a conspiracy, and that's what we've been focusing on.
Yeah. I mean, I felt this was worthwhile, actually. Now that we're getting towards the end of it, as much as I like getting paid £100, I do feel it's been a worthy endeavour. As much as it's frustrating for me, sometimes that's necessary to get a point across. And yeah, you know, had I had future vision, I might not have accepted the £100 and gone, no, it's just definitely worth doing anyway, regardless of being paid. And, you know, plus I'll get a load of clout out of it.
Also,
Nathan,
clout chasing is
hang on.
non-responsive.
Oh, sorry, John. Sorry.
Go on then, Jin.
Go on, John. Okay, I was going to say, Nathan, in order to score a try, sometimes you've got to take a few bumps and bruises to get the try. So basically,
Indeed.
That's what you're doing.
Good conversion. Go ahead, John.
I was the response clout chasing is non-responsive. If I bring up measurement and you say I'm clout chasing, that makes you insane.
Yeah, it's a non sequitur.
Well, I hope we could have educated him, you know. I hope he paid attention because it's not hard. A child can understand measurements. You broke it down perfectly when I asked you to, and it's obvious to a duck or a roast chicken.
That's the way I see it. I don't think that I have any idea. I don't think anybody else has any idea. I think that there has never been a historically, or there's never been a point in time.
To see, yeah, that's why I give him at least 80 IQ. He just used a word that I pointed out he was held over a barrel with literally 35 seconds earlier. The historical standard was what was put to him in regards to evidence of Jesus' existence, wasn't it? Now he's talking about history, yeah? So somewhere in that cog, he's processed the standard that he's just had used against him. Now he's using it in his phraseology. Very telling.
Or a person who has been able to intentionally pierce the veil of reality.
What, like the 500 people who evidence Jesus' existence, that sort of standard. Hypocrisy, AsmonGold be thy name.
At any point in time, in any way. Like, and it's very easy for like in any capacity, not even remotely close. Like, for example, if I said there's never been a point in time where an ant was able to do multiplication, you would all agree with me, right? We'd all agree. There's
I don't know, how many ants have you interviewed? How many maths tests have you put in front of ants?
never been a point in time where a cat wrote a book. You probably would agree with me, right?
I don't know. My cat was pretty smart.
So with this, it's the same thing. It's just a different scale. We've never done psychedelics. Yeah, exactly, right. And so
No, that's a stereotyping and generalization fallacy. I immediately overcame it by saying, I don't know, my cat's pretty smart. That isn't agreeing with you, isn't it? It's offering up an air of disdain by sarcasm. Well, that's a very different reaction to what you suggested would be the outcome. That's what happens when you use fallacies. They're thwarted by people not comporting to your fallacy. In this case, generalization and stereotyping.
And so that's what I think. That's my flat earth. That's my take, my opinion on flat earth.
Stream live and on demand.
Pretty sure that's the end. We'll double check, just in case.
Did he say his take?
Yeah.
His opinion?
Yeah, that was his take. And he's entitled to it. I wouldn't want to take it away.
I mean, you'd never obtain an elevation angle from a curved baseline, let's face it.
Right, that's the first time ever we've got all the way through a video. I literally can't remember the last time we got all the way through to the end.
No, I remember people used to highly criticize you for not going through the whole entire video, even if it was 4 hours long. Go through it all, Nathan.
Yeah, so Len feels gratified there, and he's been honoured. He's the first to have Nathan's go through the complete video. Brilliant. What a day.
All it took was 100 crisp English pounds.
Money talks and BS walks.
With that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
Live stream and he's self-commenting on it, and he hasn't been doing a live.
Yeah, he gave an answer for that. He gave an answer why he came in under that account.
What?
Len was saying it couldn't have been him because that account was just made the account today, but he gave a reason why he came in with an account called Cloud or whatever.
Yeah, I doubt it was, people love to fake being somebody famous.
Yeah, but usually when you pull their coat, like when somebody comes in, let's say as freaking President Bush, and you start saying, you're not really him, you just make it believe, they stay there and they defend it. The moment I said it's not him, it's somebody just pretending to be him, he was like, pretending, see you later, and he left. That would be my only reason for believing it might have been him.
Well, Divergent Droid seems to think it was him, and he's got his the clout. He put some up, didn't he, to say it is him.
Yeah, he put something up. He read it. Where is that Virgin Droid? Is he in here?
I don't know. He's put a link up there to he created a clout something he called himself with it. He's got his photograph on there, but whether that is him, I don't know. Or somebody's just using a photograph of him.
Why
Who knows?
would you use a photograph of yourself on a fake account?
If it is or if it isn't, it'll eventually come back to him, and the corp will be fantastic.
Yeah. Let's hope, listen, at 4 million people. If we get 10,000, that would be great. Right, Nathan?
I mean, I just want to pay the mortgage this month, Neil, frankly. That's all I'm interested in. Or both of them.
Well,
I nicknamed, did you hear? Sorry, John, go ahead.
I just said as welcoming as possible. I mean, we ain't going to give him any information he doesn't already know for himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I don't think he realizes. I think he's one of them numpties that just follows consensus and what the authorities tell him. But Nathan, did you see what I nicknamed us? The Flat Broke Crew.
This volume strength is
Very
tripled.
good.
Moreover, traditional cutters are very noisy, causing neighbor complaints. With cutting steel with this tool is as quiet and easy as cutting tofu.
He's got their mic wide open. Tony, hello.
Sorry, third time.
No worries. He's figured it out. If whoever put him on server mute can take him back off server mute, I think he's probably figured out where his own mute button is by now. Tony, can you put yourself on local mute? Thank you.
Okay, I know what to do.
Jolly good.
I'm having flashbacks from yesterday with me and my sheep not being able to find my mute button.
How about when you find it and you're hitting it and it doesn't want to go on mute? Has that happened to you? It's happened to me a few times.
Something's weird. The normal icons aren't coming up right. And the deal where a phone call comes in or alarm goes off. I think I had an alarm go off at 9:30 and it takes me off of mute.
Yeah, it takes you right off mute.
Yeah, well, I hadn't had that happen before. And I was out watering the sheep and didn't even know I was off mute until it was way too late. Anyhow, next time I'll just
hold on. Oh, wait, back up. Watering the sheep. Explain. Because I know you water grass. What do you mean watering the sheep?
I have sheep, dude. I have sheep.
What do you just hold them down?
No. You gotta give them water to drink, Neil. I got troughs of water out here that are frozen, so I'm bashing ice off of troughs that I don't have heated, and I've got sheep all around me that are thirsty. And
okay, so when you say watering the sheep, you mean you're giving them water to drink? Okay, I got it. Because I envisioned a bunch of sheep and you just hosing them down.
No, just like in the Bible, Neil, they water the camels, don't they, in the desert? And then Jesus goes to meet that Samaritan woman.
There you go. This is the sheep at the well. We do show them, so we do wash them down a week or two before we take them to a show.
Yeah, one deck. I sent you that clip, yeah? I sent you the clip.
Oh, yeah, seen it.
Yeah. It played that time, didn't it?
Yeah, it played yesterday, but I tried again today. It'd gone. So, yeah, I did have a listen to the short one. And I listened to, listened to the Mark Sargent bits as well.
Now, that was him. No doubt about it. That was freaking, what's his face? Russell Brand.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical about us personally. It sounds similar, but I don't think that's him.
No, he gave
he mentioned the 2-hour interview with Mark Sargent, and I had it on hand because I listened to it.
Yeah, I listened to the podcast with Mark Sargent where he called in, but that was only like a 20-minute podcast or interview or something.
That was
but it lasted 2 hours. But hold on, this is where he hung himself, because Jin accused him of only giving him a couple of minutes of time to speak. And he said, no, that's not true. That went on for 2 hours. So you're saying you're not him, and then you hang yourself by saying, wait a second, this show went on for 2 hours.
Right.
It was definitely him.
And what's the odds that I've got the podcast on hands within seconds and I'm dumping it into 24/7? That from 2017. No, it's definitely him. There's no doubt about it.
I know what Len means, though. I know what Len means. There is a little bit of a difference in his voice. He doesn't sound as loud and direct and as confident as he does in the Mark Sargent one. Although he does sound similar.
Did you hear when he started swearing up and down?
Yeah, can I just get this cleared up? One deck. The Mark Sargent one is a clip from the actual podcast. Now, what you're trying to say is he doesn't sound like his usual drug-up, hyperactive self because he's cleaning himself up. He came in clean, uncut, no drugs, nothing on Saturday. Usually he's drugged up and out of control. And then he finally did show that trait towards the end, and then they muted him off and he left. Okay, so that's definitely him.
Well, maybe he's not putting on the performance he would when he's doing a podcast or something himself. Maybe he's not going as full bore, because within that podcast with Sargent, he's just rambling on, telling little silly tales. And
but remember that 2017. That was as well. That was 2017. Right. So there you go. And then Saturday, he came in clean. right? Not drugged up or anything. Because in that podcast, he admits he's a drug user. In the actual podcast, like that all comes out in the podcast. Him being a drug addict and a drug user, said it himself. He admitted it, you know. So there you go. I never heard of him before, but I knew he was a kind of druggy just from that podcast alone. It was just mad.
Listen, I listened to them side by side for a good half hour, back and forth. That's him.
It tickled me though when he was talking to Mark Sargent or his friend asked Mark Sargent about how do you explain flight paths. So Mark Sargent went into something else. I thought straight away we'd be saying about straight and level flight, altitude above sea level. So you notice it.
Hold on. Yeah. Would we have said that in 2017? We would
no,
not.
But that's what I'm pointing out.
I would have, because that's what I was saying back then. That was my number one go-to. Aeroplanes flew flat Earth, and then ships. I was saying it back then, definitely.
You would have went to the flight path that took a detour and went to freaking Russia or something. I know you.
No, I would have. Yeah, I would have brought that. I would have brought that up as well. That would have come up as well as everything else. Now I would bury them like I usually do. Yeah.
Jin, you're one in a million, Jin.
You know it. I'm telling you, mate.
Russell does have a very distinct voice, you know. He's easy to pick out. Very distinct. You'd know if he was him or not.
Cheers, man.
Unlike
I salute you, sir. Thank you.
Another Brummie on the show. That's what you don't want.
Yeah, I'm allowed to call you a Brummie Git as I am one.
So when you call somebody a Brummie, would that be somebody like from Long Island, high class Long Island, calling people from Brooklyn?
No, he's coming from Birmingham.
Not Birmingham,
Right,
Alabama. Birmingham, England.
I understand, but would that be like somebody from Long Island calling somebody from Brooklyn a Brooklynite?
Yeah, but it's kind of self-imposed.
Yeah.
We call ourselves Brummies.
Terrible accent. I hate it.
Did you hear about the young boy that from Brooklyn that wanted to be a pirate for Halloween?
No. Is this a joke?
Yes, he broke his mother's chops that he wanted to be a pirate. So she goes out and buys this very expensive costume, with the hat that they wear. So the first doorbell he rings, the lady answers the door. She goes, "Oh, look, a pirate. Where's your buccaneers?" He said, "They're under my bucking hat."
Very good. I told myself that I'll stop buying microphones, but my book's still a long way out, so I've got to keep buying them as I'm bidding on something at the moment. And as
Nathan, every time you say that, I laugh because I know it's not even true.
Yeah, my wife does the same. I keep saying, this will be the last one I buy, I promise. I won't buy any more. And then I see one, I'm like, yeah, but this one would make a really good video. And I have to justify it as I want it. So even though I look at each mic, I'm like, how much profit can I make on that mic? I still look at it and go, yeah, but if I was stuck with it, if no one bought it, I'd still really like to own that, which is normally why they sell. In other words, I buy stuff that's desirable because I want it. I'm like looking at this mic now, I'm bidding on it. It's a Backfire Sennheiser 521. And it's a spin-off from the 90s of a drum microphone that's worth about 300 quid that they still sell today. Now, it's currently at 70 quid. I know that the guy's reserves 80 quid with buying fees. That's about 85 quid that I'd have to bid to buy it, which is a pretty penny for me. That's like quite an that's the high end of what I like to buy stuff for. Don't get me wrong, I'm selling stuff for a couple of £100 sometimes, but I don't like to spend more than £100. So when it's edging up towards it, it's always very nerve-wracking. Like, number one, will I win it? If I do, will it be crap? If I do win it, can I sell it? If you do happen to see me making a video about a Sennheiser 521 Backfire, or Blackfire, I think it's not Blackfire, Blackfire, you'll know I've won it.
Well, let's hope it doesn't backfire on you then.
Black.
Haha.
I
I'm
wrong.
saying
It's black.
backfire.
Yes.
In that you lose money. Okay.
Indeed. Let's hope it doesn't backfire when I buy my Blackfire. But I'm feeling particularly flush. A guy yesterday bought a whole ton of microphones off me. He was like, what else have you got to deck out a studio with? And I pointed him in the direction of several of the mics that I got that were really nice. And obviously I pointed out the most expensive ones and he happened to just buy them. So I'm like, great. So, having literally netted a couple of £100 yesterday, it's like, I don't think I feel too bad about bidding up to about 90 quid for this microphone. If I do win it, I mean. But still, quite an expensive purchase for me.
Hey Nathan.
Hello.
I'd like to say I was playing one of your shows in my canteen at work on my dinner break, and I was playing one of your shows, and all of a sudden the guy on the next table jumped up and says, "Who gives an F about elevation angles?" and stormed out the canteen.
So he'd been listening and he had an outburst.
I put it on like medium volume, just enough so they could get triggered.
That's brilliant.
Because I knew he would. And it was hilarious. He walked out and everybody was like looking at me, what went on, Tone? And I was like, I don't know. I said, I think he does actually give an F about elevation angles. Otherwise, he wouldn't have walked out. And the guy started laughing in the canteen.
That's priceless.
Cracked me up.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
And now he comes in, and if I do put it on, if I've missed the show and I've watched some of it the day before and I go into work and I put it on dinner time, he jams up his earphones and puts his earplugs in. Poor soul.
Yeah, it's very painful.
I'll tell him.
I'd just like to say that it was epic. Wish people could have been there, or I could have recorded it. Would have been boss.
Right, you have to excuse me for a second. I'm going to get a confirmation from my wife I'm doing the right thing buying this microphone. Back in a second.
And he said, what have I told you about buying mics, Nathan? What have I told you about buying mics? Especially as we are trying to go forward here. Now get rid of it. She gives him a slap across the face. Now go and get rid of those mics.
Yeah, they don't like elevation angles or triangles.
Yeah, who gives a fuck? Yeah, it's good when they go like that, though. It's good when they get triggered. Yeah, I see the entertainment value there.
I also go to the lads in work who I'm like educating, and I'll say like, so you believe that stars are beneath your feet underneath people who had passed away? And they go, no. I say, well, welcome to flat Earth. Puts them in a spot and a half.
You see what I mean? They just walk right
That's
into
pretty
it.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. They just walk right into that one.
My wife says she trusts my judgment.
I just put a spin of logic on it, get them to think, to open the brain cells,
Buy all the mics.
Well, your £100 went straight to her for helping me do editing work on the book. Just so you know. By her, I mean Paula, my wife. And I'm just telling you why my £100 that Len gave me to cover the AsmonGold video went. I'm telling him I gave it straight to you.
Oh, thank you.
She says thank you. I don't know if you heard her.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah, do you remember that song there, Neil? One Deck. What's underneath? What's underneath? What's underneath, Mum Sergeant? Remember that? Who sang that recently?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What a dickhead, honestly. Not worried about the surface. He's talking about what's underneath the earth, Honestly, this man's just a fool.
How we looking on the book, by the way?
Yeah, Paula.
Yeah, because we haven't had much news on it past week or so now. So what's been going on? Yeah, what's happened? Where are we?
No, Paula.
Yeah, you're doing a grand job, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, Paula, what's going on? We want answers.
And Nathan's walking around with
won.
dispan hands, no doubt.
Yeah, I won. £83.90 plus £2.94 postage.
Well, congratulations so far. Still got to get it in your hands. Hopefully it's going to work and not just fizzle out when you plug it in.
I wrote a few, Nathan. Sorry, mate. I did write. I started something, but I just not finished it. But it was like a, and I will finish it probably. But I'll just say what I've got so far, and it was a poem for Paula, and it goes like this.
Hold on, let me get her attention.
Paula picked.
I just want to make sure she's listening. She's looking at Christmas jumpers with my eldest daughter. This Wandek's written a poem for you. Are you listening? Yeah. She's listening. Go ahead.
Well, it's in progress, but I'll just give you what I've got so far, just for an idea. A poem for Paula. Paula picked it up. The book. The book that went missing. The book was never missing. It was all a blessing. Paula's life is too busy. Paula didn't need the book, but the book needed Paula. The woman, the mother, the wife, putting stories right. That's as far as I've got up to now.
That's going to be great.
Speak up.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent as it is.
One more time, Paula. A bit louder.
I love that. That's really good. It's so clever.
Oh, thanks, Paula. Well, so are you. I might just leave it like that, to tell you the truth. You know, when you think, well, I'm going to add some more to that, and you think, well, someone just said it.
Yeah, like the horizontal constant. Don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Well, you hit every single point on that perfectly.
Yeah. It's just one of those. It's perfect as it is. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
On a more
I
important
thought it
note,
was great.
I won my mic for £86.16 total. I'm sure you're all very concerned.
What's going on with that mailing stuff to other countries? My son had this giveaway for the 1,000 subscriber on his, I think, whatever he was on. So he has this giveaway. So now person is 1,000 subscribers. So we go to the post office to mail something, and it costs freaking $300 for a few pens and a few pads because it's going to the Philippines. Why is that?
Yeah, it's getting silly now, isn't it?
He could have sent it. He had to say, oh, I can't do that. I said, you're darn right you can't do that.
Yeah, it's getting silly here in Japan as well. The postal service has lost 30% down on revenue by this time of the year. Usually, people are buying their post New Year cards and getting them sent out, but that particular event has dropped 30% because the price of postage has gone up. So yeah, postage is becoming silly now.
I thought it goes by weight, and it was not a heavy. It's very light. So I'm telling my son, it's probably going to cost you $10. Don't worry about it. Comes walking out. I said, how much do they want? He said, $300. It's like, are you kidding me?
That's definitely price gouging going on there. Definitely overpricing it there.
Well, one of my brothers, he speaks to a girl in the Philippines, and he told my son, he goes, yeah, that's going to be expensive. That's why I usually don't send stuff to her, because they want a lot of money to send stuff to the Philippines. So I'm thinking, what's a lot of money? $40? $300? Are you crazy?
Sometimes they had import charges on things. I remember years ago I bought a guitar pickup from America for about 90 quid. And then when the postman delivered it, they were wanting 30 quid off me for import fees.
Yeah, I had the same thing with the tamper that I bought. I bought a tamper that looks like an orange juicer, but it's designed with a certain spring to put a certain amount of pressure on the coffee when you tamp it down. And they didn't sell it in this country, so I bought it from the States. I think I paid 90 quid for it. It arrived, and then the postman wants an extra 40 quid. Like, suddenly it's become the most horrendously expensive tamper you've ever bought. These things are like 30 quid. Suddenly it's like 130 quid or 120 quid for this tamper.
Wait a second. The postman comes to your house with the goods, but wants additional money?
No, they send you a letter.
I've never heard of that in all my life.
They send you a letter that says, we've got your goods. If you want them, give us money.
Oh, okay. I thought he came to the house. Once you get to my house...
Sorry, Neil. Is that legit that they're asking for this import duty money? Because that's what it sounds like.
No, of course not. But if you want your goods, you pay it.
No, I said, fuck off then. I'm going to get my solicitor on the case. I can give them any money. Fuck that.
Once they get
never
to arrive at my house with... Once they arrive at my house with the goods, it's mine. But you're saying they give you a letter and you got to go to the post office. That's how they get you.
Yeah, I'm never going to do that.
For a lot of stuff, it depends whether the market is a gift or whether it's coming from a business.
What's the difference?
Well, if it's commercial, if it's coming from a business, then they want to add the import charges.
Commercial charges.
Let me tell you a real story that happened to me here in Japan. When I got my car, this is like, 15 years ago, okay? We're going back. I wanted some new car seats covers, and I wanted to have an African accent to it. So I ordered some leopard skin print, of course, seat covers from a company called Car Seat Covers Unlimited. Okay, they're in Texas. Okay, and on that day, I ordered my bike trailer as well, which I used to take the kids when they were little to the kindergartens, to the park, fishing in the bike trailer as I'm cycling, yeah? So I ordered these two things, two separate places, both coming from America, but two different areas in America, right? Now, the bike trailer came within like 4 days, right? The car seats guaranteed delivery by 3 weeks. 3 weeks go by. Okay, I'll give it a week. It's a month now. So I'll ring them up. I said, yeah, my name's Jin. I ordered back last month car seat covers. When are they going to arrive? Can you check it up, please? They're checking it. It's in China. I said, how did it get to China? I'm in Japan, yeah? Japan, China, Japan. It's two different places. What's going on? Can you contact the post office in Japan and ask them when it's going to go? Okay, hang on a second. A few minutes later, comes back. We're not able to contact the post office in China. Okay, well, what are you going to do? Can you call us back tomorrow? Okay, I'll call you back tomorrow. Tomorrow, right. Hello, yeah, it's me again. Remember my car seat covers? If you can give us just another week, I think you'll be getting it. Okay, right, bang. So I ring him up again now, weeks gone by. Hello, it's me again with the car seat covers. Yeah, what's happening? I go, why don't you admit they're lost in post? He goes, no, I think what happened is you gave the wrong address. That's what they're trying to say to me. I said, hang on a second, let me show you how wrong you are. And I sent them an email with my order for my bike trailer with the address, right? I said, that's the address I gave you. I ordered it on the very same day I ordered the car seats. So I didn't give you the wrong address. I've worked in this business of delivery, so you're wrong there. And I think you should reorder. Please reorder it again, all right? Make another one, because that's lost in post. Okay, I'll get to the manager, we'll be back. Put the phone down, pick it up again next day. But this time, I'm pretending to be a solicitor representing me, okay? So it's like Jai Hadley's associates in London. Yeah, I understand that my client ordered some car seats from you. Now, he's getting a bit panicky because he wants to use them in the Tokyo Motor Show. This is why he's actually ordering the car seats, and he's thinking of doing business with you. But because you're not forthcoming with where the seats are at the moment, what are you going to do? Are you going to remake them? Oh, we're going to remake them and send it to me. How long is that going to take? Oh, a further 3 weeks. Okay, I'll tell my clients. So in the end, I had to remake them, okay, right? I got it in 3 weeks, and guess what happened? A week later, the original one arrived. So I got two for the price of one. There you go. What a story, eh? Brilliant.
Yeah, really. Jin goes on for...
Sorry, Jin. Sorry, Jin. I just had to step... What was that again, mate? Sorry.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jin goes on for so long that it's really difficult to put in your point. But what I was saying that Nathan what Nathan said sounds pretty much like India, because in India we have this thing like whenever the postman delivers a money order where you are receiving something in the form of money or kind, then in that case you give it as a tip. And there are also police verification for the purpose of passport and other things. There it is more like bribery, but it is kind of taken for granted. Everyone knows that we will have to pay it in order to get our passport verified from the police office, right?
Right, I see. Yeah, in my case, I ordered a car seat. It wasn't delivered on time, and I end up getting 2 car seat covers, 2 sets for the price of 1. That was the beauty of it all. You know, so I made out, didn't I?
Yeah. See, when Jim tells you the story, he lets you know what he ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Well, no, I don't really do that. That's what you do now. And what time you went for a shit and out, what colour it was. Yeah. I don't do
Takes us
that.
all around. So you got 2. Let me ask you a question. Do you still have them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The one in the car is still there. And the second set, the original, is still in the box. I haven't opened it at all. It's still there. Of course.
I got to see pictures of these, man. What did you say they were, leopard or?
Yeah, leopard skin seat covers for the Nissan Pathfinder. Yeah.
Because I'm envisioning Tony Montana when he goes to pick up Elvira, and he's got that white Cadillac, but he's got that tiger skin seats.
Yeah, well, I've got the leopard skin seats instead.
Leopard. Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of vehicle?
Oh, it's an SUV. It's a Nissan Pathfinder.
Oh, those are hard to come by.
Oh yeah, well I've had it, but it's from 1996. It's 30 years old.
No, is it the original one though? Because
it's the original one from 1996. There's no change.
But where was it made?
It was made in Japan, shipped out to America.
Because the ones I had are the ones that are made in Sweden. I think they're not even Japanese
this is a Nissan
anymore.
Pathfinder made in Japan.
I have one now.
Made for the American market. As that's why they called it the Pathfinder. But here in Japan, it's called the Terrano, as in terrain. You know, Terrano. Yeah.
Yeah, but the original Japanese ones, they're hard to get over here. We get all the. I got a Pathfinder now, and it's 2008, but it's not the one.
Oh, that's the newest one. Yeah, that's much newer than mine. Yeah, 2008. No, this is the original one.
Nathan knows what year they turned over.
V6, 3.3 litre.
Nathan, you still there? What year did they turn over and stop making them in Japan? Because the last time I had a Nissan, he educated me on that. Because I thought I had a Japanese vehicle.
No, this is the original 1996, mate. Beautiful, lovely vehicle, a good workhorse.
How many miles do you have on it now?
Oh, bloody hell, at least 500,000 kilometers.
What is that in miles?
300,000 miles.
Wow. Still going.
Oh, absolutely. The engine is still perfect. The only thing I've done on it was head gasket. I changed that, had that replaced, water pump replaced. And then underneath the car, we have these rubber, what do you call it now? Rubber boots that they have that cover the articulation between the rods that join to the engine for your 4-wheel drive. Yeah, and the suspension linkages, all the rubber boots all perished. So we got some new rubber boots all over that, and new struts, not springs. I kept the springs, but I just changed the struts. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, and a few rubber bushes. That's about it.
If I can throw you off topic, I just wanted to ask a question. So I'm sure many of you remember J. Tolan Media. Do you?
Yeah, I love the guy. I look at his material. I'm always referencing the man. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I also had a look at his channel after a really long time. And as usual, he posts his video after weeks and months even. But one of his recent videos where he checks the parallax effect of clouds when he's flying on an aircraft. And based on that, he does some calculations and everything. and shows how it does not fit the curvature of whatever the curvature of the earth is, right? And he says that it is a really big earth that we are living in. So kind of saying that it's a really, really big ball.
Yeah. I think I know the video you're talking about, actually. Yeah. I remember seeing that video. Yeah, it's basically saying that it has to be a very, very big ball that we're living on, and as he laughs, as he says it. But yeah.
While flying on a plane, flying straight and level on a flight.
Yeah. I like all his material. He's always been good, that guy. Always been good. Hello, all you flat earthers. Oh. Yeah, he's really funny.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
What's to say about AsmonGold rejecting our invitation to join the server?
Everybody thought it was him in chat because we were reviewing his video and he came in under an alias, but claimed it was him. And a lot of people don't think it was him. So I said it might be somebody pretending to be him. And he said, pretending to be me, see you later. So I think it was him because usually when you pull them and say it's somebody you make them believe there's somebody else, they stay there and they fight with you that they are that person. This guy just left. So I tend to think it might have been him.
Interesting.
I think if it really was him, he'd want to address us, I think. Especially if he actually managed to get to the channel. Why wouldn't he engage?
He wasn't answering us in the chat. He was saying, I'm just responding to the video.
Yeah, no, it weren't him. I want to hear his voice. That's the only way you can tell it was him or not. Get on VC.
Would you go on VC if you knew Nathan was on the other side?
Yeah, if I'm a global, of course, if I am the way I am now, of course I'm going to go on the VC. What do you think?
Probably Elder Bear.
Yeah, Earth's a really big ball. What's there to worry about?
Ayuka.
Well, Globers, they're 10 a penny, mate.
How can Earth be a really big ball if it's flat? Are they trying to say it's so big that it appears flat?
No, it's
I mean, if it's only curving slightly, you can still obtain that elevation angle, mate. If it's just a slight curve.
Wait, back up. You said elevation angle and slightly curved in the same breath?
Yeah, works on the globe, mate.
Oh boy.
I think it could be a ball if it was a beach ball and somebody sucked all the air out of it.
Celestial navigation only works on the globe.
Those are Rumpus used to say. Amazing how all the experts come out, right? Nobody said a word about sexting. You get that phrase here and there, a sextant can only work on a globe, but nobody got into detail until we started bringing up the sextant with 10th Man. Then all the experts came out.
Yeah, but they've since died off now, haven't they? Don't hear of them anymore, especially Rumpus. Totally gone. I never let him get away with a single word. I used to call him a puff as well. Now you're topping those puffs, shut up.
Same thing with surveyors, right? You start talking about surveyors, all of a sudden all the professionals come out. Engineers too. Engineering? Oh, I got a degree in engineering.
And the pilots, Neil. Don't forget the pilots.
Oh, the pilots. So you run into a dime a dozen. There's pilots all over. And astronauts. Ooh.
Yeah.
I remember there was so many astronauts in chat back in the day.
Yeah.
Everybody was a freaking astronaut.
That's right. That's right. That's what I was going to say, Neil. Because there was always that character. There was always an expert on hand. The man that does everything, you know. Oh, yeah, I'm a pilot. Yeah, no, I'm a professional, surveyor, etc., etc. There was always an expert. Always pissed me right off.
I got told, I got destroyed because one guy a few years ago said, he's flown Concorde. It's obviously a globe then.
Yeah, I had a guy that said that. What was his name? His name was Buster on an English server last year, making out that, maybe a year and a half ago, stating that, he'd been on a holiday with his family on the Concorde, right? But it didn't go to America. It just went out and came back. I said, I don't know. I don't think Concorde were offering that kind of ride back in the day, because of the amount of money and it would cost, you'd be either going to America or not going anywhere. Did you go to America? No. Did you see the curvature? He reckons he did. Goes, no, you couldn't have seen the curvature because it's not possible. The Earth isn't curved; it's measured flat. I said to him, "Stop lying." Do you know what I mean? And
he'd be in straight and level flight, though, won't he? Straight and level flight above sea level.
It has to be straight and level flight. It has
Hold
to
on
be.
a second. I got some literature here with the Concorde. All right, you measure the speed of sound using two main methods: time of flight, distance time. That's a flat Earth. By timing how long it takes a sound pulse to cover a known distance, like clapping blocks from afar, or the wave method, by measuring its frequency and wavelength. You're going to need a flat plane of reference for all of the above.
That's right. And the aircraft traveling at Mach 2 doesn't like a curved trajectory. That's not going to work. In fact, the Concorde had to have its fuel tanks strategically placed in that aircraft. So as the fuel is diminishing, it kept a balance. For if it was off any slightly, it would send the aircraft tumbling. Do you know what I mean? This is a fact. The Critation, Riley Critation, he gave me the actual original Concorde video from Tomorrow's World back in the 60s. And I've got it. And I looked at it and I thought, wow. And the pumps that pump the fuel, they have to use it so evenly. It's a horrible contraption when you look under the skin, but it was necessary to keep that plane flying level at Mach 2. Without that going on, and the way the shape of that delta wing kind of like design, it could have set the aircraft off balance, and then it would have been in a tumble and break up and crash. So there's no way it could have been doing a curved trajectory. No
Jin,
chance.
I got one for you, Jin. So I put in, how do you measure the speed of sound on a globe? Measuring the speed of sound on a globe means measuring it across the Earth's surface.
There you go.
Which involves using long distances and precise timing.
There we are. You see? Linear mileage, not curved. Because ballistic traveling and Mark 2s and Mark 3s, Mark 7.6 projectiles do not take a curved trajectory. It's not possible. So much drag would be created, and then the projectiles that would lose control, it'll end up tumbling. So no, man, it's got to be horizontal linearly. The horizontal constantly all the way to the target.
Yeah, listen to this. Speed equals distance and time, factoring in temperature and medium, much like measuring across a large field, but scaled up immensely. So if they're measuring the speed of sound with temperature, you're going to need a container for that.
There you go. Absolutely. Because you've got your pressure and your temperature there all in flux. Absolutely. It's very dangerous. When you start to travel at Mach 2, can you imagine how you're forcing yourself? The medium becomes a brick wall, It has to be so well designed and streamlined to make that speed through that medium. Because I'm sure you've all put your arm out of the car, Daddy's car, when Daddy's driving, and you put your hand down, it's moving back. And then when you actually put it horizontally, and then you aim it slightly, your arm goes up, you dip it, it goes down. You've all done that. And when you put it flat out, palm outwards, and your hand goes back. Now imagine doing that at Mach 2, trying to drag, So the faster you go, the harder you're hitting that medium. If you haven't got that thing streamlined properly and reducing all drag factors, The plane's going to heat up, going to buckle, torsional stresses, you're going to lose control.
Jim, did you ever hear about the plane crash in the 90s, I think it was, where the pilot allowed his son to fly the plane for a while?
What?
And so
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. Shock and horror, you know?
The pilot had put it in autopilot, so whatever the son was doing wasn't affected. He was just pretending to drive it. Yeah. But he somehow found a way to turn it on, not knowingly. And so the plane was flying at an angle, and by the time the father realized, he went to correct it and overcorrected, and that was it. It just all went wrong from there. Hundreds died.
Do not mess around in the air.
Yeah, it's not like driving a car.
Exactly. Like I put my kids in my lap when they were little, but you do not mess around on the air. In the air. Break that.
He probably accidentally hit the Coriolis button, I think.
And it spiraled out. When I was teaching my kids how to drive the car, it was in a car park of the laundrette, massive. No one was around, early in the morning or sometimes in the afternoon when there's not many people there. And then, you're talking less than walking pace. So the car's just the idling speed, and the kids turning it. Okay, we're going to reverse it now. Let me put it into reverse gear. Okay, go on. Okay, turn it. Let me hit the brake. So all he's doing is just turning. I'm operating the brake, not touching the accelerator because there's no need. Just the idling, and they enjoyed that. They moved the car. Yes, you did, didn't you? Good. That's it. No chance of an accident with anyone.
I used to steal my cousin's car. She lived upstairs from me, my cousin Connie. She had a 1973 Rally Sport Camaro, orange with a cream top, cream interior.
Yeah, lovely car.
She brought the car brand new in 1973. She was living in the upstairs apartment in my mother's house in 1980. Guess how many miles she had on that car?
Go on, how many?
11,000 miles.
Oh, nothing.
11,000 miles.
Nothing at all.
The lady did not drive it anywhere. Yeah. I would take that car and open it up at night. And like my mother used to use the car, like, they were cousins. And I hear my cousin Connie saying, "Gloria, did you use the car yesterday?" He's like, "Yeah." "Did you put gas in it?" My mother's like, "Yeah, I filled it up." She's like, "Well, it was empty this morning."
Neil had been drinking.
And I whistle right past him.
Yeah, you can't beat the Americans for having these really funky and psychedelic vehicles back in the 70s, 60s and 70s. They had some really nice cars. They always did.
I was cruising all over with that Rally Sport, man.
Yeah. The Rally Sport made by Chevrolet, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chevy Camaro. It had some balls on it.
Yeah, nice cars, Chevrolet. I like the Fords myself. I like the Ford GT40. The Le Mans winning one in the 60s, and then they redid it, modernized it up a little bit. Same original shape, just a little bit bigger. I love that car. That's my favorite car, that one. American one. The Ford GT40. Did like that vehicle. Yeah, I'd love to own one of those.
My favorite one, though, that they only made them for 2 years, was the Grand National. That car is just so nice. Talk about American muscle, man. It's just a souped-up Regal. But, man, it was freaking so nice. And they stopped making them because this is what happens in America. Like fireworks, I'll give you, for instance. Somebody blows their hand off for fireworks, they outlaw fireworks in the whole state. So what happened was, I think it was 1987 or 88, this couple got married and they were on their way to their honeymoon, and they were racing, and a Grand National just killed both of them, the bride and the groom, in the limo. And that's it. They stopped making them. too fast for the street.
Yeah, look, because I ride motorcycles, I've been up to 185 miles per hour, on several occasions, and that, well beyond, 160. When I get in a car, everything's just slow motion. I just do not envisage myself having the car wrapped around a lamppost or landing on its roof. Do you know what I mean? I've done off-roading, driving in the snow, rallying. I just don't see myself being in that situation unless it's a truck. Now, it would take a truck to wipe me out, high side me or blind side me, perhaps. Yeah, and then that would be, but not if I'm driving it proper. I'm not going to be having those kind of wipeouts. Just not at all. Only a truck, because that would be the only thing big enough to wipe out the car. Remember, it's a Pathfinder as well. It's quite solid.
Listen to the Buick Grand National. Is an iconic all-black muscle car from the 1980s, based on the Buick Regal. Famous for its powerful turbocharged 3.8-liter V6 engine that delivered surprising performance, rivaling sports cars of the era, especially its never rarer ultimate form, the GNX Grand National Experimental. It became legendary for its menacing looks and sleeper performance, proving V6 power could compete with big V8s. With the 1987 GNX built with McLaren, pushing the limits with even more power and unique features. Let me tell you, they were fast cars. They were beating, there was a place in Queens, Laurel Hill, where they would have straightaway runs. Cars would race each other, really have drag races, and nobody could beat the Grand National. GTs, even a vet went up against my friend Frankie's Grand National. It was just a monster. It all depends on the driver, too.
Yeah, it depends on the driver. I was going to say that.
Because if you got a vet, you can't be afraid when you're driving. You get behind the wheel and you're going to race. You're going to race, open it up.
Yeah, get on with it.
The Grand National it's a big car, but man, it was surprisingly fast.
Yeah. Yeah, my Toronto is Pathfinder Toronto, very fast. But I've got an automatic, so I go into one first, which is what you use for towing, really. But I put it into one. That's my first gear. Bang, I've gone into two. Bang, and then into drive. Bang, and I'm sayonara, man. Yeah, I used all those three gears. 1, 2, drive, like that every time from the lights. Most people just stick in drive and that's it. But I actually go into one. Because it's a low gear, isn't it? And then 2, and then drive. So
there's only 547 of them.
Right now. Blimey, that's rare. So that'd be that'd be worth having.
I'm gonna put a picture in Master B.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's look. And on that note, I'm going to be sliding off now. So I will check your picture and catch up on tomorrow's show. This is Jin Siawo and saying good night to all the guys and dolls in the flip side and on the channel here. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
See you, Jin.
So, Arthur, have you got what videos have you got, mate? I think we spoke about this. Have you got some celestial navigation ones? Have you got anything lined up? That was too flat, Arthur. If he's still around. No, he's gone, hasn't he?
Yeah, we got to get back to the normies. Normies doing normal things, measuring the Earth flat. Because that's the only way you can measure it. I don't know. Can you measure it spherically? I don't know. I don't have a curve.
Just because you're using like angle measuring tools like theodolite steel, and you're referencing the Earth as level to survey. I mean, that doesn't mean that the Earth's flat, does it?
Well, Everybody in the world knows it's a globe. I mean, people in authority know it's a globe. I mean, these flat earthers, they're caught in a psyop and they don't even know it.
Yeah, Neil, did they use the Grand National car in a movie or a TV series? You know, like the Green Hornet or the Mannix, or what's the other one called?
Excuse me, I thought you'd gone.
Yeah,
no, I'm
Jim,
still on
go
the.
away.
I left the show. Yeah, go ahead. I looked at the car. I just want to check it out. What do you think? Did they use that kind of TV series? Did it appear regularly in a TV series?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it looks like it did. Looks like the type. You know, you had the Batman car.
Oh, it's a freaking beast. 87, they widened the tires. They hooked it up nice in 87. That car was freaking a monster. And only 3 people had it in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Wasn't it a 1960s car or 70s car? Did you not say?
No, it's the souped up Buick Regal. It came out, the first one came out in 82.
Okay. All right. So it's not that old then. No. Then it's not what I was thinking then. Because you had a program called the Men from Uncle. They had a car, didn't they? I thought it was something like that.
Man.
But no, not that.
The Man from Uncle.
Sorry, yeah, the Man from Uncle. Sorry, yeah. I say men because there was 2 of them, Kiriakin and Solo. But the Man from Uncle, yeah.
Like this being Flat Earth Debate when there is no debate. The show was called The Man from Uncle.
Yeah, because they were agents, weren't they? But I said Men from Uncle because there was 2 of them, weren't there? You know, Solo and what's his face? Kiriakin, who was from Scotland.
Like the Lone Rangers. Remember Airheads? Was it called Airheads? It had Steve Buscemi and I forgot the other guy's name, Ben something or other. And they go into a radio station and they've got their tape for their demo session. And they're like, well, what's the name of the band? Yes, it's the Lone Rangers. It's like, you can't have the Lone Rangers. Hello?
Yeah.
Lone Rangers. That's a good part of the movie. I remember he
Independent
said that
variables.
one time, and I was like, damn, I can't stream that anywhere. I had to buy a DVD.
I was just thinking that, Neil.
What, the independent variables? Bulls.
Yeah, it's a classic. To be honest, my favourite line from all of this is they need a flat earth more than we do.
It's very true. That's very true indeed. They need it more than we do. Yeah. Yeah. John said that a number of years ago. It's so true. Dum 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 dum. That's the theme song to the that would be the Man from Uncle. Yeah, I did like that. That was a really slick and stylish program. That was really good. And I was so surprised to find out that David McCullum he was Scottish, even though he was playing a Russian. Oh, yeah. Good actor he was. Yeah. Yeah, some good programs back in the 60s. I'm currently rewatching the Champions, you know, telepathy and all that. They died. They were involved in a plane crash in the Tibetan mountains, and then, you know, secret population there. They kind of like was to help them to recover, and they were endowed with these special powers. And then they work for this agency called Nemesis, and they go around, you know, saving the world, of course, from disaster. Yeah, pretty good. 3 of them, 2 men and a woman. The Champions, it's called, 1967. Very clean, very chic, very nice. Yeah.
2.5 Men. God, you're not
Say
very
that
good at
again?
these show titles, are you?
Can you say that again, please?
I said it's 2.5 Men. It was a joke. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I
because I
just
couldn't hear
actually
you.
watched do that
You were down-
recently.
2.5 Men. Now I got you. Yeah, you had the woman whose name was it? Her name is hang on, Sharon McCready. That's it, Sharon McCready. Original name Alexandria Bastida or something. I cracked up when I heard that. Alexandria Bastida or Bastide. Yeah, that's it. Alexandra Bastard.
Did anybody
Yeah, it's
see
quite
the
nice.
post I put in Master B last night about the owner of a sports company, I'm guessing, in Colombia? He's put a challenge out to flat earthers that if they can show a photograph of the edge, then he will give everything within the company's rights and ownership to the flat earther that proves it.
I mean, what's a knob end? Eh? What a knob end. You don't have to go that far to know the office.
There you go. Take a picture of the horizon and say, there's your edge. You believe that's an edge of a sphere. Give me my stuff.
Yeah, give me everything. Yeah, thank you. And the keys. Thank you.
Yeah, stop using our stuff and give me your stuff.
That's right. Thanks for looking after it for me.
I mean, by definition, I would have appeased him, right?
Yeah, of course you did. Legally, you could have him
I'm
over
a
a barrel
flatterer,
because
isn't it?
that is the edge, isn't it?
Well, I don't think it's the edge, but he said that a flat earther had to show him the edge of the earth and he would, give all this stuff. He believes that's the edge. I don't. But it's not really what I believe since he's the one giving the stuff away, right?
Yeah, that's right. He threw out the challenge there, didn't he?
Who is this guy? I'll go ahead and go challenge him.
The post is further up in Master B. I can re-find it for you and repost it if you like.
Yeah, I'll go see what kind of trouble I can get into. I wanted to go after Dearth when he posted that thing about Bitcoin after, he's talking all that crap about Nathan. Go after him because of his belief in gravity,
Well, I was going to just send him, print out the Eratosthenes example and say, there you go. There's your proof of a globe.
Yeah, one day I did try to call you on Teams, but I couldn't seem to connect. Was that because you were offline then, were you, or what?
I'm not sure, mate. I'm not seeing anything come through. I didn't notice anything happening, so I'm not sure when you did
every
that.
time I try to call you, it just cuts off. Boom. That usually means that
sometimes I'm in really. Sometimes I'm in really crappy reception areas. Traveling around.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I've got your videos. I watch them, so thanks for sending them through, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I tried to respond as soon as I got your message because, And I know what you meant when you said it wouldn't play. You got that kind of like a triangle with the with this circle and a triangle and a bar across it. Is that what you got?
Yeah, but when I had it yesterday, I could play it, but I didn't watch it. I just tested it to see if it'd play, and it did. So I thought I'll watch it today, and then it didn't play, and that's when I messaged you just to send it again. So cheers for that.
Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah. Yeah, it got a bit hectic in that clip. I think they should have all just calmed down a little bit, listen to what I said, and give him a bit of space to speak. But he was just getting ridiculed from the word go, wasn't he? Which was a bit unfair, I felt, as well. They should have just calmed down and let's hear what he's got to say. So says who asked the right question. Do you have any measurements of curvature?
Evidence,
let's get on
curvature.
with that. Yeah. Instead of ridiculing him, he's got himself stuck in the wall. You know when you're stuck in the wall halfway? Well, I don't really know that, but, and he's stuck in the wall and he's just spinning around. And I thought, come on, man, why can't we just engage with the guy, right? And that's when he said he had this interview with Mark Sutton. I knew who he was. So I thought, it's you again. That's what I thought,
Well,
gotcha this time.
Well spotted, mate. Yeah, well spotted. And it was just so, it was lucky he'd already watched that podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah, back in 2017. And I actually listened to it whilst I was on a jog. I was jogging at the time, thinking what an arsehole this guy was. Never heard of this Russell Brand in my life. So at that point, he was already famous, but I didn't know that. Remember, I haven't been in Britain, left in 1999. So whoever's coming up in that period, I don't know who's famous and who's not. I just thought this guy was going to be interesting because it's Mark Sutton. Let's see what kind of questions pop up. I'm jogging, I'm doing the laundry. Let's go. And it's all shit. And he didn't. And like I said, Mark Sutton didn't really speak for long, did he? In that 30 minutes, 20 minutes, which is cut from the 2 hours. The rest of that bloody podcast was pure junk. They're fucking lunatics, that lot, don't you think?
Yeah. He's nice, so Mark Sargent, the way he deals with it. He's very keeps pleasant, doesn't he? And just sticks to the, he has a nice conversation. Even though he was picking up that he was being a little bit sarcastic with him, and he just sort of let that go over his head, didn't he? And kept with the job in hand.
Yeah, he absorbed all the nonsense just so he could get the truth out there as best he could, even though it wasn't to the measurements, because he totally avoided the measurements thing, didn't he? Started going with what's underneath. Do you know what I mean? Crap. He rehearsed it anyway. Didn't just come off the top of his head, the lying bastard. I just thought of that. And then we're going on about blessing some book that he's written or something. Bless the book. Can you bless my book? Crap. Junk people. Don't know why he's famous. It goes to show you the level of the mentality of what's going out there. If that's what they pass for quality, entertaining, and someone famous to follow and listen to. Geezer's fucking, I'd rather watch paint dry, covered in shit.
I just can't believe all these people who just to go out this much out the way to, target flat earthers because there's some people that, go against their belief system of a globe. I mean, why would anybody in right mind let that bother you? Like I said before, when I was a globe, if someone said to me about flat earth and I didn't agree, I'd just you stick with that then, and it's no big deal if that's what you want to think. You think that. I can never imagine reacting the way these people have. You know what I mean? It's really extraordinary.
It is really common when you're dealing with someone who has a very ardent belief that they accept as fact. They will react very angry, like extremely vitriolic whenever you challenge it.
It's weird, don't it? Because as a glober, you don't necessarily think you don't realize you've got this belief that's so deep, do you? You live on a globe. You don't really know much about it, probably. Do you? I don't know. You might do. Some people might do. I didn't know that much about it. I didn't know the circumference of it or anything. I would live on a globe and it's spinning around in space.
Penumbra.
Yeah, but wasn't it always in the back of your mind? Because I remember when I first brought it up to my brother, I was like, can you believe we're moving right now, but we don't feel it? And that's when he started telling me about flat Earth. So it's always in the back of your mind that this can't be real.
Well, you're told that it's just something you won't feel, and you don't see the curve, and you don't feel the emotion, but it is happening. It's just the way it is, and the dynamics of it all. Your senses, your senses don't pick certain things up, do they?
Hold on a second.
Whoa.
So we were believing in something we could not see, could not feel, and could not identify with. Wow,
That's right.
we were
That's exactly my position. It was back then. Yeah, I believed it. So, but it was the one thing that I was worried about is if this Earth was to suddenly stop, we would all fly off. So let's hope no asteroid slams into the Earth. So when you hear the observatory saying that they've caught one that's earthbound, that's going to go past us December 26th, you think, okay, let's hope it doesn't come too close. And they said, oh, it missed us by 2,000 light years. Oh, thanks a lot. Lucky.
No, you've hit on a really critical point, right? When people are like, well, what's the point? Why? How is this a control system? Well, fear. And you've just described it very poignantly in terms of an old school fear that you may have held about suddenly getting wiped off the face of the Earth by some rock that's travelling through a heliocentric motion. There is no heliocentric motion. There is no soil in the sky. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, but we believed it
Nathan.
because
That's right,
we
Nathan.
were
It is
taught.
BS.
We believed it, not because we just came up with it. We were taught it in the education system, and we trusted the education system because they taught us arithmetic, they taught us reading comprehension. So, of course, we believed it. All science told us we lived on a globe. Boy, was it shocking to me when I found all of this stuff out that has nothing to do with science. Man, I was like a well,
But like you say, if someone would have challenged me back then or just mentioned flat Earth, I wouldn't have even blinked. It wouldn't have affected me in any way that somebody is suggesting that the globe that I believe I live on is not correct. I wouldn't, I would never find myself reacting like some of these people do. And it's like you say, some people.
That's because you're open-minded. You're more open-minded than the average. That's why, you see, you're prepared to listen to and learn. What do you mean? And you want to hear what they've got to say. And when you see it laid out, you think, what I just heard is what I've just lived, what I've been living through. Let me go and double check this shit.
That's you guys. Me, I berated my brother for 2 weeks. I hit him with everything. What about NASA, you freaking moron? Everybody in the world's a scientist. I was hitting him with everything. And,
so you was getting a bit like that then, weren't you?
I was a baller for 2 weeks. I was freaking defending a ball that I could not prove that I lived on.
Yeah, so I never do
was he
that.
laughing at you?
It's ingrained. You don't realize it. There are a few that just, wow, and look into it. Like Nathan in a second, right? Brian, 8 seconds, whatever 8 means, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, it's ingrained in us to resist. You're brought up as a child to laugh at flat Earth. So it's ingrained to defend it. They did a good job.
Like Nathan said on the show, and Ginger said it, and 10th was on about it the other week. It's like you've all because when it hit me, I've told you before, when it was mentioned, I instantly. I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say use the word believe. I instantly believed that yes, the Earth is flat, and somehow I realised at that point that I think I've always known this, and it's just all come to me now.
Yeah, that came later when I started. That came later for me when I started looking into. I said I'm going to prove my brother wrong, and I went out and I started looking at all the proof of a globe. And I was getting stupid stuff like climb up a tree, and I'm like, oh, what is this? I'm thinking I'm going to get hit with freaking mathematical equations and all this science that proves the globe, but nothing. I was getting nothing. And I'm like, holy shoot. Then the bucket came back to me when I was a kid in school, spinning a bucket. And when the teacher spun the bucket around the head and no water came out, I was saying, I was challenging it back then.
Did you go and climb the tree, Neil, just to check?
What you're describing is disbelief, like globe denial, where you learn that it's not a globe, or you figure out it's not a globe.
Right.
It's slightly different than being a flat earther.
Right, because I was looking for the reasons why it's still a globe, and to stop my brother from going down this ridiculous path he was on. Meanwhile, but remember, my brother was giving me feast of nonsense. He was like, "There's an ice wall that surrounds us, and look at this number. It travels Earth at 666 miles an hour. That's the mark of the beast." So, I mean, I had reason to freaking go at him.
Yeah, you might have been more sort of concerned that your brother was going a bit crazy and you needed to sort this out for him. And in doing so, you've been able to prove that the Earth was a globe, because there is no proof of that. Yeah, so John was right. I understand what you meant there, John, yeah. Where mine was an instant, yes, it's definitely flat. And I think I've always known this deep down.
Yeah, I said, so you mean to tell me, or, go ahead, John.
I didn't say nothing.
Well, I was saying, you mean to tell me all of NASA, I'm like, these are people that work for the government, NASA, we've been to the moon, Chris. He's like, why, you think we've been to the moon? I was like, of course, what are you talking about? It's America's, one of its greatest achievements. What the frick are you talking about?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I can never claim to say that I've always known the Earth is flat. Will never come out of my mouth, because I convinced myself when I saw the ship falling over the edge in a Nigerian school textbook in Nigeria in 1969, 1970, I knew that the Earth could not be flat since it was galvanized. So I lived my life believing in the globe, and that's what I did. So until 2015, and then within 5 minutes, I realized I was in the wrong instantly. See, because by the time you're 54 years old now, okay, you've got a lot of experience, yeah, and all that just kicked in. Like I said, you have that epiphany where all your life flashes in front of you in nanoseconds, and then it's flat. The reason it's flashing, my brain was looking for curvature; it was never there. I went, bloody hell, it's flat. Fuck.
You know,
it is.
You know what was big for me too? As I started like finding all these flat Earth videos and the Mark Sargent, the clues. I was like, whoa. Then Eric Dupay. I'm like, whoa, maybe it is flat. But I did not have it for sure and without a doubt until I started coming to the Flat Earth debates and listening to Nathan's show. And then I still didn't know for sure. I was always thinking that proof's going to come out and we're going to look like idiots. But then once the measurements came out, well, actually, no. Before that, gas pressure without containment, I was fully convinced there's no way it could be a globe with that.
Yeah, long distance observations, black swans, gas pressure requiring containment, all that just killed the globe. And I was marching on into war, gem pandas, medicinal mass medias, Earth awakenings, anywhere there's globers, Jin was just destroying. And then I was going back to 24 saying, I bring you victories. I'm victorious.
Yeah, because if you think about it, even just gas pressure without containment, it debunks a globe. So if not a globe, then what else?
Exactly.
Back then, though,
it's not curving in any way, shape, or form. What is it?
I was just going to say what John's going to say as well. Probably it doesn't.
Yeah, go on, John.
Earth, I don't think.
No, it only debunks the nature of there being a space the gas would fill, being above our heads, -10 to -17 torr, ever-expanding universe. That's what it debunks. It debunks the cosmology of heliocentrism.
Okay, if not heliocentrism, then what?
Geocentrism?
No, because it's still without a container. You still don't have a container. There's no container in geocentrism. It's still a containerless Earth. Well, what is geocentrism?
I don't know. I've never heard the doctrine. I've never heard the doctrines of geocentrists and their stance.
Geocentrism is still a ball. It's just that Earth is the center, but it's still a globe.
Yeah, that's right.
But just going back, though, we've said this before. Like when we talk about our little journeys here now, we wasn't at this measurement stage then. So we sort of knew the Earth was flat and was looking into things, but the things that was convincing us was not that the Earth's flat, that it can't be a globe. That's what was happening.
No, it was
then.
the Earth is flat for me because water is always level. That was always my argument. And aeroplanes proved it. That was my number one go-to, aeroplanes. But then we had the black swan come up. Then there's all these long distance observations. And then you're not having this container without, you can't have air pressure without a container. So all those preponderance of evidences, proofs, facts, destroy the globe. Right. I was
Exactly.
always in the chat saying all that. Go ahead.
So once gas pressure without containment, yeah, just like Jim said, now you're looking at level water, level flight. If not Earth is sphere, then it must be flat with all the other stuff we're witnessing. All the other evidences prove it's flat. Now, when
the reason why it's not a globe is because the Earth is flat. That was my argument. Because the distances across the Earth are level and linear. No curvature measurement, I said. So that's the reason why it's not a globe, because it's flat. That's why I always use the words flat up. And there were other flat earthers. When we got to like 2018, people was beginning to see, maybe saying it flat earth is triggering the globers. They're getting triggered. Because I don't give a shit if they're getting triggered. The earth is flat. Samuel Rowbotham used it back in his day, flat earth. I'm going to use it to the day I die. I'm sorry. No, let them get triggered. Flat earth. Yeah, so I started shouting out and going into the servers.
If not a globe, it must be flat. Why must it be flat? Water's flat. Flight, you're flying over a flat plane. Surveying's flat. Everything's flat. So if it's not a globe, it must be flat. And then when measurement came, it was the knockout punch. That was the silver bullet. Now, Jim, you were saying it before in 2018, but we weren't saying it the way we're saying it now. Yeah. I don't remember anybody saying it.
I was saying it's solid then. Go ahead.
Remember when you used to say to a globalite, water will always seek and find level, and it'd send you a picture of a raindrop on a leaf.
Yeah, I know. I've got those images still of the water on a leaf. I've got it. Still got it. Yeah, silly asses. I kept it for how stupid a glober behaves.
Yeah, and I was always saying, how can we get into this, because it was still a debate at the time, how can we get the debate to where we don't have to deal with gravity and all of this other nonsense? And measurements. Once you lay down the measurements, that knocks everything else out of the park. I don't got to deal with gravity. I don't got to deal with Earth's spin. I don't got to deal with none of that nonsense.
Hang on, Neil, the funny thing is, what you're saying is absolutely correct, but you get these idiotic globers bringing in the gravity. So you don't believe in gravity then? But hang on, what, are you not noticing how Earth is measured flat? That's what we're talking about. It's got nothing to do with gravity here. We're talking about the measurements.
Exactly.
But they bring it up,
the flat measurements knock it out. It makes gravity irrelevant. Gravity is needed. Yeah. It's the necessity to have people standing on a globe, even though it's out of date, and we know it's the bending of space-time, but it's their essential belief that gravity keeps people on the ball. Well, once you establish that it's a flat level plane, I don't got to deal with this gravity keeping me on a ball.
Yeah,
Neil,
I've
said it before.
Go on one day.
Sorry, mate.
No, go on.
I'm just saying, I've said it before a few times. Like, that's like when we got sort of close to this point. That's why the 30 words what we put together helped me, because it simplified everything. Because it is simple in the end. It's just a measurement. So not that I can't talk about the Newtonian gravity and Einstein and gas pressure without a container and all that, but sometimes it's hard work going through all that and remembering everything if you're not doing it all the time. So if that 30 words just simplifies it for me, and I don't have to deal with any nonsense. It might be a lazy way out, but
not only that, one deck, it simplifies it and finalizes it. That's what I mean. Double underline. You know, it is a fact. This is irrefutable, fundamentally correct, precise. It's not subject to your disapproval. That's what's good about it. You understand? This is what you take to court. Your briefcase is light, where Gin CBR1's got 2 briefcases coming in. I'm prepared for the, you get me? I'm prepared for the long haul. So I've got 2 briefcases coming in, and you come in with your thin briefcase, you put it down there. Right, you get me?
Yeah, we could do it. These are the
no.
facts, and they are not disputed. Sorry, John.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was just going to build on Jen's analogy, because now we don't even have to bring a briefcase. They bring it for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just prepared for the long war just in case.
No, did you hear what he said? He said they bring it for us. They bring the suitcase to the debate that they think they have. But in that suitcase is all flat earth measurements.
Yeah,
well, there's a sextant in there,
exactly.
the other light,
with a sprinkling of pseudoscience dogma as well. But yeah, it's all flat earth anyway. Absolutely, John. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure you remember this one deck. You know, and everybody else. You know, when you're talking to the Globers, right, and we're talking about the supposed rotation of their stupid globe ball, and they say it's moving at 15 degrees an hour, and it's a slow rotation. I said, yeah, but at the equator, ladies and gentlemen, it's 1.5 times the speed of sound. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is 1.5 times the speed of sound slow? Is it slow, ladies and gentlemen? No, it's not. Is it right? So even though it's taking 15 degrees an hour, at 1.5 times the speed of sound, you're going to be chucked off the globe. It's too fast, okay? Doesn't matter if it's taking 24 hours. That's 24 hours at 1.5 times the speed of sound. Thank you. And I did that for a whole week.
You do realize when you take that position, you're spinning with them.
I am not spinning with them at all. I am telling them that the Earth isn't a globe. Don't put me with them, Neil, or else I'll shove you under the bus. Now, shut up. Basically, I'm not with them.
It sounds like you're spinning with them to me.
No, I'm not spinning with them at all, Neil. I'm saying to them that we're not spinning, and you need your spin, right, and your gravity. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not spinning with them at all. I'm not on the globe. I'm trying to get the people who are listening to how absurd their argument is. They're trying to say, you're not going to notice that spin because it's 15 degrees an hour. It's dead slow, and it's taking 24 hours. I said, yeah, but at 1.5 times the speed of sound, if that's the case. I'm not spinning with them.
Well, you'd notice it, wouldn't you? You'd notice Earth-based Coriolis, and you don't.
Thank you. 1.5 times the speed of sound can never, ever, ever in anyone's life be considered slow. And you know what I said? It's faster than me saying, ladies and gentlemen, It's faster than that. It's faster than me saying, right now. See how fast that is, ladies and gentlemen? Is that fast? Thank you. It's not slow, is it? Thank you.
What about when you? What about
ladies and gentlemen, the Globers don't have that. Yeah, just to kill them. Remember, I tried to make them look silly.
See too far. When you say you see too far,
I've never said that.
You do realize that you
see too far.
I didn't say you.
Yeah.
I'm taking it personal. Whoever says, well, we see too far, you're on the globe with them when you say that.
Yeah. Now, I always say, and I still say, and used to say, and will say, we are seeing further than the Earth's curvature would allow if it is there.
Bada boom.
See, that's what I always say. And it's not there, ladies and gentlemen. Hence, welcome to Flat Earth. That doesn't mean I'm on the globe with them and we're all having a party and an orgy. No, it means I'm slapping them in the face with the facts. And the listeners are like, wow, that's true. Because you're giving them the source. This is where the information comes from, ladies and gentlemen. There you are. Go to that server, go to that video, go to that timestamp if I've got it, and then go ahead and check it out. Thank you. Yeah.
So you're not in a globe if you say, if the Earth was curving away, we shouldn't be seeing what we're seeing.
You know what I mean anyway. I'm not going to argue the toss of the way I deal with the Globers, because I deal with them very well indeed. It's entertaining. I enjoy it. They hate it. I love it. Simple as that. Doesn't matter what you say, Neil. My methodology will never change.
Again, Neil.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, I'd rather say that I see it because I see it. Because we're on a flat Earth. You see because you see.
I see
tell me what I
because it's a
should
flat
be
Earth.
seeing, what I shouldn't be seeing. I see because I see. I have eyes and I see. And I see what I should see.
Because it's flat. That's why I see that distance, because it's flat.
It's flat.
But it's not a measurement either. It's an observation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm able to observe that object at 120 miles away because it's flat, ladies and gentlemen. There is no 2-mile curvature there blocking my line of sight, ladies and gentlemen. Well, no, because you got to educate them to why it is not doing that and all the nonsense in between, so they learn how the mistake and they don't fall into it ever again. They must know it. I know it. They have to know it. Yeah, and then they know it. They know why it's not a globe.
Refraction and light bends up, mate.
Yeah, that's right. That's why my suitcase is big and heavy. Do you know what I mean? And I'm dragging it in with me, but I got the muscles and everything to pick it up anyway. Yeah, and you hear thud. You know, the old leather type briefcases. Do. Yeah, I'm ready. Gin CBR1 versus Glober. How many? 10? Okay, 10 a penny. There we go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, the YouTube library. Sorry, jury. Okay, you're listening to Gin CBR1. Here I'm going to present to you how the Earth cannot be a globe. And we'll listen to how the globe has tried to defend that. Thank you. And how indeed we are ending up on this beautiful flat Earth that we live on, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Right. Here we go. Now, Glober, what do you say? What is your evidence of your curvature? And then you hear the ums and ahs, looking at the sun. Objection, Your Honor. Looking to the sun is not actually looking at the surface of the Earth, which is what I'm here for, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, objection sustained. Yes, Glober, can you refrain from looking to the stars and the sun as we're talking about the surface of the Earth and its supposed curvature if it's there? Can you now please give us the verdict of your measurement? See? Yeah, and there we are. I rest my case, Your Honor, right on his head.
Can you explain to me what the Globers' supposedly proof is that they live on a globe?
Ships disappearing over the horizon.
Elevation angle measurements.
They don't have any of those. Oh, well, they do, don't they? When
what do they say?
Stars, in a way,
what do they say that their proof is?
Well, that proof is like ships going over the horizon is one of them, isn't it? That's the one they go to a lot.
Okay,
yeah,
so that's
you've got ships going over the horizon, eclipses, NASA.
Yeah. Shadows on the moon.
Tree.
That's not a joke. Ships over the horizon is their number one. If you look, that's like number one proof of all.
Yeah, ships disappearing over the horizon, bottom upwards. Ridiculous.
That's why my opinion of the observation is going backwards. It's solidified. Measurements is all we need. You go back into the observation, then you're going to be going back and forth. And personally, for me, I can entertain myself with much better things than to be going back and forth with an ignoramus about observations.
Yeah. The only reason I do that is because I love to beat them up with it, you see. That's why I come in with my two, the old-fashioned worn-out leather bags full of all those stuff that we learned 10 years ago. 10 years worth of accumulated knowledge. Boom, boom on the table.
It's not only that.
That's 10 years. That's
one deck
10 years
one deck comes in with a polished, very thin, under his arm, leather wallet.
It's not only that with the boat. They're talking about something disappearing over something that's never been defined as physical.
It's a 10-year lifeline you got.
And they actually used surface level and eye level parallel with each other to come up with a distance to this thing that isn't physical.
Yeah.
How bizarre.
Because they might want to raise something technical, and as one deck says, he doesn't want to get embroiled in that. Well, my esteemed colleague, I'm going to represent in this particular situation, Your Honor. Is that okay? Any objections? Okay, Glover. Yeah.
I've just got a picture of Jim with his two big leather old suitcases pulling things out like pulling his binoculars out and a blow-up globe.
Yeah.
And every proof, I'll give you a lifeline.
Gin versus Glover, 2015. Hang on. Gin versus Glover, 2015. Ships disappearing over the horizon, Your Honor. Bang. There's a case study in the file.
No.
Well, they do disappear. They do disappear over the horizon. That's the number one.
Yes, Your Honor, but that doesn't mean that's the Earth curvature, Your Honor. You see, when the ship disappears from your eyeball's ability to focus and resolve that, because it's gone beyond your eyeball's capability, there is an invention known as the binoculars back in 18, whatever, when it was invented, and we can use this instrument to aid our eyeballs. And lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, in the jury, we have the ship still in view.
Stars don't disappear.
Still in view, ladies and gentlemen.
I can see a star. Stars are thousands and thousands and millions of miles away. I can see them.
Correct.
Objection, Your Honor. Objections, Your Honor. Fallacy. What is that? What fallacy is that when they're giving the wrong... trying to give a distance and they don't know it.
Fallacy.
Sorry?
You got to go one at a time. It's becoming inaudible. But here's the thing. With your proofs, you're bringing lifelines.
No, we're having a joke here, and we're not bringing proof. Exactly. We're not giving them any lifelines.
Exactly. You might as well throw a whole bunch of life preservers out there as you're arguing with them, because they're going to keep on going tit for tat. Measurements is the guillotine decapitator.
Yes. But when you go to
the
court,
head comes off, the body dies.
Yeah. You see, what happened was it was the Globers presenting their proof in this court case. You see, and they went to the stars, and we objected. We said, Your Honor, we're talking about the surface of the earth. And then the judge said, yes, objection sustained. Glover, can you please refrain from looking to the stars? We are talking about the surface of the earth. Now, do you have any curvature measurements? And then they went to the ships going over the horizon. We're playing lawyers here. Globers versus flat earthers.
The flat earth lawyer says the measurements to those stars and the sun
but we weren't presenting
Earth.
our case. We were listening to the Globers, you see. It was the Globers' turn first, you see. Okay, we haven't presented our case yet. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, but
That's
you're
what
saying
I mean,
the Globers are saying the sun.
You didn't listen, and you jumped the gun there, and now you've tripped up. We were presenting the Globers'
you
case
said the Globers say the sun, and you're telling Your Honor,
the Globers' turn in the courtroom.
Can I finish?
It was the Globers' turn in the courtroom. So we, the flat earthers, are listening, right? And then they said something to the sun, and then we objected. And the judge found in our favor and said to the Globers, yes, please refrain from looking to the stars, because we're talking about the surface of the earth and the curvature therein, supposedly. So do you have your curvature measurements? Oh, and then they went straight to, as you said, Neil, the number one go-to, ships disappearing over the horizon bottom upwards.
No.
Right.
Oh, God. Can I get a fucking word in? Holy shit.
Now get it in. Yeah, you can now, Neil. Go ahead.
You objected. This flat earther said, I want to talk about the measurements to the sun. You objected.
Well, not in our court case. In our court case, we're not presenting yet. It was me and one deck versus the Globers. The Globers were putting forward their case. That's what happens in a courtroom, isn't it? The Globers go first. So they're the ones presenting. Okay? We are not ready to present yet. It's not our turn yet. See? Right. Fuck. When it's the Globers, you've got to do what they're doing. In a courtroom, remember? Courtroom setting. It's different when you're debating on a live stream. That's different. Oh, what's the matter with these people?
Somebody like we were talking about when we first, the penny drops that we believed the earth was flat, and then we've been through this journey and talking about all that, the piece of nonsense bits and all that. It'd be nice to somebody come into it now, like we've just described, but they come here and we're just discussing the measurements. It'd be nice then, And then if the guy's bringing like, or the girl's bringing up, well, what about gravity or refraction? And when we say, well, that's irrelevant. All that you don't need to even discuss that. I'd like to have that person and see how they, and then see them from the beginning to when they totally understand it's just the measurement. So, because we've all been through that journey. We've been through a different journey, so we've got the certain things going on in our mind of the journey.
Yeah, we've got the full knowledge. We have the full knowledge of what's all their game. So if the girl did go like that, and you say, objection, Your Honour, that's a non sequitur to what we're actually discussing, the surface of the earth. But then the judge might goes, objection overruled. Yes, can you please explain this? What was it you mentioned just now? What did you just say? One day. What did you just say?
You're not even paying attention to the court case. Give me a new attorney.
Refraction.
Yeah, it wasn't refraction. It was something else. Yeah, it was something else you said. And sometimes you do have to discuss it when they go like that sometimes. Of course, you said it's non sequitur, and I would agree with that. It's a non sequitur. It's got nothing to do with it.
I want a new attorney.
Well, you know what you can do, yeah? You've got a telephone number. You know more than I do.
1-800.
You're living in this.
Who am I calling? Let me see. Who did the guy say was the number one flat earther on that clip? Mark Sargent.
He's not.
That's what he said, right?
One.
The Russell Brand guy? Your number one flat earther.
Yeah, he called him a premier flat earther, didn't he?
Oh, boy. Mark Sargent, number one flat earther. Oh, boy. A close second, David Weiss.
Yeah, Neil, I have a question for you. Did Robbie Davidson go back to the globe because of the 24-hour sun? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, Alaska.
Why did he do that?
Alaska, welcome to the server. By the way, he did that. But unfortunately for Robbie Davidson and the team that he belonged to, to celebrate truth, they've left behind a good legacy of good information that people can learn from. So, no matter what they've gone and done, they're looking silly at the end of the day, And whatever they do is what they do. We know that it's measured flat at the end of the day. So no one leader controls flat earth as such, but they did do some good work at the very beginning, back in 2015, 16, 17.
Listen, I don't remember much of it. I know you probably remember. What were some of the things Davey was talking about?
Well, if you watch the documentary Scientism and Scientism 2, the sequel, they were talking about how science had become a religion, etc., etc. And then at the very beginning, they were talking about flat earth and how it's flat through a biblical construction, Yeah, and then they put out the material of flat earth with long distance observations. And, they did the flat earth thing beautifully. Glossy work, informative, constructive, totally destroying the main media and all the so-called science main media programs that we used to watch, like the Discovery Channel, the National Geographic Channel, for example, and the History Channel. So these people put out some really good work, okay, second to none. And then he flips. They did the conferences, of course. Robbie Davidson organized the conferences so those who are flat earthers could go and meet up and have a discussion and whatever. It was good. They did some good stuff. And they covered flat earth very well.
Yeah, they brought Logan Paul in too, right? Mark Sargent warned him not to. But he's the first guy I heard talking about science before I got here. It was Robbie Davidson. He didn't call it pseudoscience, he called it scientism.
Yes, yeah, which basically is the same thing, really, in a way, because science has gone to a religion status. They're not using the scientific method, are they, at all? Nowhere near it. And then during that period, you had Michio Kaku stating that no one uses the scientific method in my field. It's all done by the seat of the pants. And then he also let it slip that, we lied to you. There isn't a force keeping me down to the ground. We lied to you, and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it was good. Flat Earth, that was all to do with Flat Earth people doing that and the content, pushing them and shaking them up. It was good in 2015, 16, 17. And by the time we get to early 18, the algorithms had kicked in now. And now you're getting Earth is not flat videos all over the YouTube. Right?
You gotta admit, though, that Logan Paul,
we had to dig
that
in.
Logan Paul
We had
video
to
was
dig in for
funny.
the scrum. Yeah. We
That
had to
Logan
dig in
Paul
for the
video
scrum.
was funny. I laughed my ass off on that.
Which one?
The Logan Paul video that he did.
Oh, the Logan Paul video. Yeah. Yeah. The Logan Paul
I didn't
episode.
see that one myself. I saw one the other day of Tyler Oliveri, who went to some of the conferences and stuff. I imagine it was in the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, the conferences were good. But then after a while, the conferences seemed to be getting a little bit more and more expensive as the years were going on. And I was thinking, why don't they have these meetups in public places where everyone can hear about Flat Earth meetup, rather than having these bloody venues that are costing like £250 a ticket? I'm not going to pay that money.
You know why? And that's why I stopped following Robbie Davidson, because he wasn't paying people. That was what everybody was saying. He wasn't paying the security. He hired security for the events, and different people were supposed to get a certain amount of money for their presentations, and nobody was getting paid. Robbie Davidson was pocketing the money.
Yeah, that's it. That was what was odd about it, that they're choosing these venues and they're big money when you can do it in the public domain in the parks. Just do it out in the park. What's going on with you? Do you know what I mean? Invite people to, we're going to have a meet up here, meet up and deal with it. All these venues and stuff.
Didn't she used to go to the, remember Roxanne? Didn't they used to go, what was it called? They had a
Globe
name
Light
for it.
Tour.
Yeah. There was no admission for
The
that,
Globe
was
Light
there?
Tour.
Yeah, but there was no admission, right?
No admission at all. No money. Yeah,
You
no one's paying any money
You show
for
up at the place and you talk to people about how Earth is not a globe, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, Alex. Alaska wanted again. Nice to.
Yeah. See, Robbie Davidson was charging a lot of money. Yeah. People want to maximize potential profit from flat Earth conferences. So there we have it. Yeah. So it's money for them. They don't care about getting educated, informing more people about the true nature of Earth.
Yeah, I mean, they were still pushing
money,
out the content. I think they were still pushing out the good content. The problem was, I just couldn't. And even what's his name, Jake Gibson, Flat Earth Arsehole, you know? Yeah, he was also saying, why can't they do it out in public? Why all these very expensive venues? £250 for a ticket. Sorry, dollars for a ticket. 120. If you know, it's silly money. You know, you don't need to be spending that kind of money. And what are we going to be learning? We're not going to learn anything new, because we knew most of it already. Do you know what I mean? So unless there's new people coming in, they didn't get that much of a crowd. So it was the regular people going, yeah, I'm glad I wasn't part of that conference shit. One guy drove maybe 500 miles.
Jen, you remember this one. I remember one where at a certain point they brought Jiren up because he was not being recognized properly, and they had this whole thing about who Jirenism was. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but I remember that one vividly.
Yeah. What I remember about that was they were actually paying him respect for all the work he's done, especially attacking NASA. So they were acknowledging all of his good work. That's what it was. Just acknowledging his good work and prop him up there because he had done a lot. They said second. They actually praised him as him second to none, the number one. They were giving him that title as back then, because he was really attacking. I used to love it when he was attacking NASA all the time. You know, he's proven the Earth's flat. Now he's going for NASA and all the shenanigans. I loved all that. Yeah. But then when he made that mistake with the laser, and then they did a hit piece with the flat earthers on the, was it Behind the Curve? All that shenanigans that went on there.
I don't think that was a mistake. I really believe that was a big setup now. That was no mistake. They were shilled from the beginning,
in
man.
In hindsight, they were slowly sneaking towards the globe again, but step by step. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. I thought that the conferences were definitely overpriced, and they could have done this out in the public domain, really, where it belongs, out in public. Talk about flat Earth in public, not in venues where you're losing your money out your purse.
You know what else
Or your
I
wallet.
watched too? I forgot. There was another one when I first started getting into flat Earth. That was a very important video I watched. That was the Dave Murphy guy.
Yeah. A Biggest Lie Ever Told, that one was called.
That was a big one. When I seen that, I was like, whoa. I think I even seen that before I seen the Fools.
After Mark Sargent, I watched that one, second one. And I only watched Mark Sargent's Clues halfway through. I thought, okay, let me check this one. And it's Dave Murphy talking to a Russian, right? It was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was definitely a good video when you're first on a journey and you're looking for stuff. That was beautiful. I can't remember it. What were some of the things he said in there?
Well, it was talking about how the water finds its level. All the flat Earth stuff, no measurable curvature, water always finds its level, long distance observations. He covered it all. And the deception, how the deception was put upon us when we were at school and everything else. No
Did he
proof of
talk
curvature.
about flight?
I'm not sure if he talked about flights. I've got the video. I can look at it again and check, but I don't remember him talking about aeroplanes. No, don't recall that. But again, we're talking when I saw it was 10 years ago, so I'll have to go and review it to see. But definitely got it. Biggest Lie Ever Told. Dave Murphy, great videos. The thing is, what I found that was odd was that it was obviously he was talking in Russian, he was talking in English, so they had to be doing the translation in between. Oh yeah, I mean, this guy's good. He's actually talking to someone in Russian TV. Wow.
Well, wait a second. I didn't get it in Russian. I got it in all. The one I watched was all in English.
It's in English, but the guy who's interviewing me is Russian. He doesn't speak any English. Yeah. It was all Dave Murphy talking, but then he would get his question, translate into English, then he'd answer it.
Yeah, Jen, what do you think of Dave Murphy's urine therapy? What's that all about? Like,
yeah,
urine therapy.
Yeah,
it makes us look like a bunch of wackos.
Well, I thought it was very odd that you would be promoting urine therapy, as you put it. If it's medicinal, very well indeed. I would only do that if my life depended on it, only. That'd be the only time, because if you find, let's say somehow you found yourself in a desert, no water now, okay? You don't know when you're going to meet water. You're going to be drinking urine to survive it.
Actually,
and that's what happened. People have survived that way.
And according to Dave Murphy, it was just all a big joke. He was just taking the piss.
Literally. There you go. There you go. And Chris Bears did it though. Do you remember Chris Bears? Chris Bears, Man vs. Wild, yeah? He drank his own urine, proving a point that you may have to do that if you're out in the desert with no water. You may have to do that.
You ain't surviving if you're drinking your own urine.
I bet you are. If there's no water, I bet you will survive.
I bet you won't.
No, you will. It's liquid.
Yeah, Jin, Dave Murphy is saying that if you have a big cut or an infection on your skin, if you take your own urine and put it on there, it will heal. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what to make of that. Like, because I've never seen it happen. I've never tried it, so.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I myself wouldn't go and do that. You know, I've often when I've cut myself, I tend to leave it to have a little bit of a scab on it, natural air. I don't cover it because when you seem to put dressings on it, it always seems to be moist.
Information.
Hang on a minute. I was trying to say.
Hold on.
Urea.
I was trying to say something, and everyone's saying, "Hold on, I hadn't quite finished." Please.
I got a definition with the drinking your own urine to survive in a desert.
Finish what I was asked, please. Thank you. Fucking hell. It's this. If I do get abrasions and cuts on my hands and legs, I don't put any dressing on it. The reason why is because when I put dressing on and you have to replace the dressing, you're ripping off the scab and then it's starting all over again. So I don't use any dressing. I tend to wash a little bit of Tiger Balm and then that's it, and leave it to the air. Thank you. Please carry on.
Okay. Hold on a second. No, you should not drink your own urine to survive in a desert. This is a dangerous survival myth that will actually accelerate dehydration and increase the risk of kidney failure.
You're taking the piss.
Well, it's been said that
we're
people
talking about urea and its ability to help the skin. What is the most commonly used ingredient in skin products? Oh, urea.
There you go. Well, there you have it, you see. So there's something might be in that. See?
You could go wipe piss all over yourself if you want. I will not be doing that.
Yeah, no. Well, I wouldn't consider doing that myself either, of course.
It just does not appeal to me.
No, like I said, I just leave it to the air, clean it with water, and that's it. If it's salt water, then salt water, that's it. Seawater, it's good for the skin, everything. So, yeah, I'm not going to sweat that
This is what was
stuff.
happening, though, when you came to Flat Earth, and everything was being opened up, and like people were jumping down different freaking highways.
Yeah, there was one guy that was bottling it up north, near Burnley in Barnsley and up that way, Leeds. He was bottling it up. Reckon he was drinking his own piss. I says, "No, you're not drinking your own piss. You're lying." And he was drinking it on live on YouTube, on the Hangouts. And I used to say to him, "No, you ain't drinking your piss. I don't believe you are doing that." Okay, I said, "I'll never accept you're drinking your piss unless I smell that bottle myself. And then I pour it out and I see you drinking it for real."
Well, there is people who do it. There is people who do it, and I mean, there's no evidence for it, but they claim that it's repairs all your bloody stem cells, and they've claimed they've looked into all the minerals, and when it comes out, it's all been cleaned up, and it's so healthy for you, and it regenerates this and that. So there's people who do it and claim that it works, and they save it, and they save it in bottles for long periods.
Yeah, this guy was he had these bottles there for months, like you keep your wine bottles. That's what he was doing. He had a whole load of them. And I thought, wow, this guy. I said, well, I'm sorry, I can't accept that's what you're really doing, because I have to be there to smell that. I've got to check it. But he was drinking it on the Hangouts live there, drinking it up. Swear by it. So, the people out there that say that the urine therapy is a good thing, okay. I would like Wandek and Neil, I would never do it unless my life was on the line and there was no access to any drink at all. Maybe I might have to drink my own urine just to survive.
Yeah, but I just read that will accelerate in your dying if you drink the urine.
But that's something, you know what, though? Even though you've read that, Neil, I would still drink the urine to see whether or not I'm going to survive. Do you understand? Because your body needs water.
I'm not entirely sure this idea holds water. I've got to be honest.
It's taking the poisons out of your freaking body. Your kidneys are filters.
I know.
If your kidneys are pushing it out, what the hell would you be putting it back in for?
It might just be to survive. That's why, Neil. See, I'm going to go on the side of those who said it's medicinal there. I'm going to say, let me try at least.
What if someone said chewing gravel is medicinal, Jin? Did you try that?
I mean, if my life was in danger, I mean, I don't know what kind of problem I'd be in. Well, I'm going to need to eat gravel. Come on now. Let's get serious.
There's people that eat dirt.
You'd have to
sell it in a store.
A bit rough for that, mate.
It's a bit roughage there. No, I don't think I'd be eating gravel. May as well eat sand. No, obviously not. Urine, it's liquid. There might be some medicinal benefits there. If you find yourself out in the desert, there's no water coming to you for you don't know for how long. Right, you might want to drink your urine.
Yeah, what about if you're hungry?
No food. You can go without food. It's the liquid that's the problem.
There you go. There you go. One deck hit it. Might as well just eat your shit then.
I'm going to end on that note. With that, another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's rather lowbrow after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley. Once again, make sure to let AsmonGold know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed by the YouTube algorithmic bot or indeed by AsmonGold himself. And I will see you all in the next video.
But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken. We just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.